A former congressman learns his fate. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. George Santos just sentenced to more than 7 years in prison, sobbing in court as a federal judge accused him of having no remorse. Santos lied about his life story and defrauded donors, pleading guilty to federal fraud and identity theft charges last summer. New York Labor Commissioner Roberta Reardon says he lied to the state every week.
It's sad that he's in this situation, but it is a situation of his own making. And as I said, he made these decisions every week. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't an oops. It wasn't, I don't know what I'm doing.
The New York Republican was expelled by House colleagues after serving barely a year. A county judge lands in federal court accused of helping an immigrant avoid arrest in Wisconsin.
Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan, a 9-year veteran, arrested by FBI agents on charges of obstruction, accused of interfering with an immigration arrest operation at her courthouse last week. Federal law enforcement sources telling Fox the judge demanded agents waiting to make the arrest proceed to the chief judge's office. FBI Director Kash Patel says the Bureau believes she intentionally misdirected agents away from the subject to be arrested, allowing the illegal alien to evade arrest after a pretrial conference on misdemeanor battery charges. Judge Dugan has denied the accuracy of the report.
Fox's Lillian Wu. The judge is due back in federal court next month after a brief appearance today. A now former New Mexico judge also due in court accused of harboring an illegal immigrant and suspected gang member and facing federal charges of evidence tampering. Just getting word ICE is reversing the recent termination of legal status for some international students after multiple court challenges. A government lawyer tells the Associated Press a policy change is in the works, and until it's issued, records for international students in a federal database will stay active. America is listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
They bullied us.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy, and unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee you, if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Temperatures still quite mild for late April, 78, doing it for the high today. There'll be some showers from time to time. Any thunderstorms, non-severe. It's not going to be raining all the time. Any showers fade quickly early evening. Most of the night is dry, 55. The weekend looks good. Saturday, partly sunny, though cooler, 69. Sunday, partly to mostly sunny, 74. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist, Dave Murray.
Let's just face it, right? Your home should work for you, not against you. Hi, it's Kim. And if you've been dreaming of a new kitchen, bathroom, or a finished basement, now's the time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design. They're St. Louis's trusted experts in turning houses into dream homes. Just imagine this, a spa-like bathroom, maybe a chef-inspired kitchen, or how about a cozy basement perfect for some movie nights? Their team handles everything from design to installation, so you can just sit back and enjoy the process. Visit lakesideRD.com today to start your dream renovation.
A lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, this is my last hope. The next step is getting them in the right arch supports. Our goal is to have that long-term change for them, to see someone that is in pain. I change things for them. See how we can help you with a free fitting at the Good Feet store.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living, where your loved one will enjoy chef-prepared meals, engaging activities, state-of-the-art technology, and a welcoming community that feels like home. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. New Perspective, where every day is a chance to live life on purpose.
Baseball is back, and this season there are more ways than ever to watch your Cardinals on FanDuel Sports Network.
As always, you can watch FanDuel Sports Network through TV providers including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. New for 2025, you can subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network and stream the Cardinals without blackouts. And for a limited time, you can get started with a 30-day free trial using code CARDS30DAY when you sign up at FanDuelSportsNetwork.com. Visit Cardinals.com/TV to learn more.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind, zero-turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Oh yeah, this is the moment you have been waiting for.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom.
Annie's out. Ryan and Brad are in.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
This is the Mannie Frey Show.
Gotta tell you, it does feel a little bit more awesome now that we have the open. This is the Mannie Frey Show. This is the Annie Frey Show. Annie's not here today. And just like we do before we go into a big sermon, Brad, you would know about this. Sunday morning you sit down in church and you're getting ready for the sermon.
We gather in prayer?
No. Worship is over. What comes after worship?
At my church?
Yeah.
There's an intro video.
Oh, well, that's kind of where I'm going because it's the announcements.
Yeah. No, ours are before worship.
Oh, really? Oh, see, we always do the announcements right before we go into the sermon because people leave before
That's where they're paying attention.
Yeah, right. A couple of housekeeping items is what they usually say. And that's what we're opening the show with because we have a lot. I mean, I got a ton of stuff and it's like all of it halfway scandalous. So if you want to hear a lot of stuff that, man, there's so much that happened even last night that I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a huge show on a Friday. But before we get there, here's what's going on. If you're not familiar, if you tune in all the time, you know. But Annie is not here today because she long ago scheduled an event with Byron Donalds today. And we don't know exactly what this event's going to look like. So we think that she's going to be with us for part of the 2:00 hour from this Byron Donalds event.
If things work. Yeah.
Technology wise, we'll see. And with the event itself, but we don't exactly know. So that's what we're hoping for. He could be the next governor of Florida. I would think that's actually very likely. And he's here in Illinois. He's in Northern Illinois and he was invited to that event. So she's there today. And maybe she'll bring back some sound with him too. I don't know for sure what that's going to look like, but that's what's happening today. And that was scheduled a long time ago. Then all of a sudden, Brad got press passes to the White House. And so
all of a sudden
on Monday and Tuesday, Annie will be in Washington, D.C. at the White House. And that's another one that we really don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but she's going to be checking in all day with both Mark Cox, Mark Reardon, and of course here with us on Monday as much as possible. That's going to be almost like, in my head, that looks like a clip show where she's doing stuff live there on Monday, sending it back to us instantly. We're putting it on the air and kind of introing. Okay, now she's in the Rose Garden. Oh my gosh, she just got to talk with Scott Besson. I mean, I don't know.
We don't have any confirmation of anybody that specifically, but there's a ton of people that she could talk to potentially.
So she's just going to be on alert the whole time, and so are we. That'll be a fun Monday, so definitely come back for that. And that's all day. So we'll just break in with whatever. And then Tuesday, we do know one thing that's going to happen on Tuesday. We don't know what time, but we know that she is going to be in that press room with all those national press people in the new media chair or the whatever, the special chair they're calling it. She's going to be in that chair. That is Trump's 100th day in office. Believe it or not, they've invited her to be there for that day, and they're making a big deal about the 100 days. I'm sure that Fox will probably carry that regardless of whether they do or not. We are going to carry it no matter when it happens. If it happens at 10:30, we're breaking into Kilmeade to carry it live. So just be here because it's going to be a lot of fun. Today's YouTube live chat poll is actually based on that. Will there be a major announcement on Tuesday, Trump's 100th day? Your options here are yes, he will announce some big trade deals. That's what Annie is saying, that she thinks they're kind of putting in the hopper, that they've got a couple of these ready to announce and that they're going to do that next week, probably on Tuesday. I could see that happening. The other options are yes, it'll be something surprising, something that really is like, whoa, nobody saw that coming. Something from the DOD or something from Tulsi Gabbard, FBI, who knows? But something that is really off the radar that we're not expecting. Would he announce that, or they announce that on Tuesday, the 100th day? Or no, there won't be a major announcement, but they'll act like there is. I thought we had to have that caveat because we know they're going to make a big deal about it. And we, of course, will be covering all of it.
I mean, it's a big deal. The first 100 days is a really big deal. It's kind of like the end of your grace period, and you get a chance to say, okay, here's everything that we did. Check it out.
Yeah. And so this is a benchmark. A lot of polling data would start and stop here. So we are going to be covering that. And then again, I don't want to miss this big event that's happening on Sunday in the midst of all these other things. Again, Annie not here today because of Byron Donald. She's at the White House Monday and Tuesday. But then Sunday, in the midst of this, I'm like tired just for her. We are doing this big rally in Collinsville at the football stadium. And I had people yesterday texting me going, wait, what is this? Is this the homeschool thing? No, this is actually a different thing. I don't know if that will come up at all. I doubt it will, because we're trying to make this very nonpartisan.
It's about local control.
It's about local control of who gets to decide what your school mascot is. I mean, you talk about heavy-handed government top down from Chicago to Southern Illinois. So we're all getting together, and some of the schools we've mentioned before, the Collinsville K-Hawks would be affected. We'd have to lose all of our history for the K-Hawks, the Granite City Warriors, the Muscuda Indians, the Freeburg Midgets, and there are many others. And so I know people may be traveling from a little ways to come to Collinsville High School on Sunday. That is at 2:00. And we're not going to make it long. We're going to show up. We're going to rally, a couple speakers. Derek Cox, the Collinsville Township Supervisor, is going to be there doing a little music because he does that. And
it's going to be a good time.
It'll be fun. We'll all be there. Like we'll just be there to hang out and meet you, and it'll be a positive experience and really bipartisan, which I'm looking forward to. So that's all the next few days. In the meantime, what is all this news that I was saying was happening? Well, let's get to some of that. Here's Scott Jennings on CNN.
Well, I think there's a difference between saying whether you're complying with the law, and then you have these individual district court judges setting effectively broad federal policy that is specifically reserved for the president of the United States. I think we do have a constitutional crisis, and it's being caused by these judges. They're not here to tell us. They're not here to tell us how to spend the money. They're not here to set broad federal policy. That is the president's job as elected by the people. These judges are supposed to be settling discrete, specific matters, not policy setting. I think Vance is right. I think Trump has a point. And these judges want nothing more to continue the lawfare against
I don't
Trump.
think anybody's going to be surprised to hear that you think Trump is
they're
right.
doing
against
this on
Trump. However,
I get it. You want individual federal judges who hate Donald Trump.
No, I don't.
To tie him up for 4 years.
No, I don't.
If you want a big
Not at
policy
all.
questions decided, let the Supreme Court do it. But in the interim, the executive has to be allowed to govern.
I saw a stat today that said that around 80% of all national court injunctions against a president have been against Donald Trump. Ever. Or at least
That's
in the last
wild.
100 years, because before that it gets a little murky. But in the recent history that we know of.
Well, and then like national injunctions from district court judges is a fairly recent and new.
And that's why they
development.
said last 100 years, because it's a little weird before that how that even worked. But that's amazing. He's not even He's barely halfway through his 2 terms. So how many more will it be? And this is policy setting. And the reason that this is a story today is not just because of all of them. It's because the newest one, the executive order that Trump signed requiring government-issued proof of citizenship to register to vote. You have to prove you're a citizen to vote. That's the executive order. In federal elections, mandates that all ballots be received by Election Day. But as I understand it, the part that's being challenged is more the proof of citizenship part. That's the main part. The court is saying, hold on, you can't do that.
Can't force people to prove that they're citizens, even though the Constitution says that you have to be a citizen to be able to vote.
And by the way, another stat is that 92% of all these injunctions have been from Democrat handpicked judges. So you think it's partisan? If it's just about the law, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're saying, look, this guy is doing things that are clearly illegal, the president of the United States can't do that. He's exceeding his authority. That's one thing. If it's just a partisan move to stop him from doing things, I think the stats that I'm reading wouldn't look like they do, because it's clear that it's just a partisan move to stop the president from achieving an agenda that he was elected on. So I have a list here of all the executive orders that he has signed. Well, at least the main ones that are being challenged. The first one, to me, there's a couple in here that I'm like, that's a legitimate case. And in fact, they probably knew when they signed it, this is going to end up being a Supreme Court case. The main one, of course, birthright citizenship. The executive order is Trump signed an executive order to end birthright citizenship for children born in the U.S. to parents who are not in the country lawfully. That has not been the way that we've interpreted that law in recent history. But a lot of constitutional experts say, but that's actually the way that it was intended. And that's where you get the court to go, well, if one side says the one thing, the other side says another, then it's going to rise to the Supreme Court. And you have to decide, well, what is the intent of the written law? That's where you go. That's the courts. That's exactly what should be happening. And that one will happen. It's happening in May, very, very soon. That's going to happen soon. So we'll see how that turns out. But the rest of these, how about Trump signed executive order to reinstate the Schedule F classification for certain federal employees? Experts say the move would make it easier for him to fire many career federal employees, possibly for political reasons, as it reclassifies their employment status to one that is less protected. Court says, nope, can't do that. Executive order Trump signed to create temporary agency of DOGE, implemented the president's DOGE agenda by modernizing federal technology. Here's where they're actually coming against him. Modernizing federal technology and software to maximize governmental efficiency and productivity. Court says, nope.
No, you
can't modernize anything.
Can't modernize. Can't be efficient.
This is the stuff that you're like, give me a friggin' break. Come on. Why would you not just is it illegal or legal? Because this is basic stuff. This is basic functioning of government stuff.
Yeah.
But why would you even want to stop that?
It's always wild to me how concerned the party was that was like basically ignoring the Supreme Court and running roughshod over the Constitution. How concerned they get about the Constitution and constitutional norms whenever it's not them.
Don't even get me started on the due process for the MS-13 gang member. There are so many people in a bubble that don't even know that guy was in MS-13. They think, because the media has said it so many times, he's just a Maryland dad. Oh, by the way, recent news, it doesn't even look like he's their dad.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yes.
That he's not even their biological father. He was just living there, dating her, or whatever it was. But he wasn't the dad. He's not even a dad. Like half of their narrative wasn't even true. Maryland dad. Well, Maryland was right.
Thing.
Not even that. He's not a citizen.
He's from El Salvador.
He's not a citizen. But all these facts don't matter. And by the way, this is the one. There's so many of these things I want to get to because there's like I'm a fourth of the way through the executive orders right now. But that case in particular drives me insane because not only is it a terrible position to take, but even if, let's say that you're like, you know what, it's about due process, which I really don't get. I don't get how you can afford due process to people who are not citizens. I just don't constitutionally understand that. Now, people smarter than me say, yeah, but, and this and that. I'm okay. I'll listen to you, but I don't get why, if you're not a citizen of the United States, that you get due process in the United States. I just don't understand it. That's our Constitution. It doesn't apply to you.
The argument is always, are we sure these people aren't constitutionally protected? Because you and I are
whether they're citizens.
Yeah, you and I are assuming that they're not citizens, in which most of these people are not. Illegal aliens, we have been calling a bunch of people illegal aliens who we rightfully believe are illegal aliens. But the other side, their argument is, no, we are asylum seekers.
Right. And so in the midst of all that, I couldn't help but last night be thinking about, oh my gosh, everybody who's yelling due process loudly, like Governor Pritzker, for instance, did they yell due process when our own citizens were not getting trials from January 6th?
In jail.
They just were put in jail with no trial. Did you care about that? Because that is a clear violation of our own citizens' due process. In the midst of all that, Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, is going so far as to say, here's how strongly I stand with Abrego Garcia.
Governor Pritzker says Illinois will take action against El Salvador for continuing to hold Kilmar Abrego Garcia in custody.
Governor Pritzker is calling for a boycott on any trade with El Salvador and a review of Illinois state contracts with ties to the country. Abrego Garcia was living in Maryland when he was deported to El Salvador last month. The Trump administration has accused him of being a member of the MS-13 gang. His attorneys deny that. The U.S. Supreme Court nearly 2 weeks ago ordered the administration to facilitate Garcia's return. The White House claims that decision is up to El Salvador.
They're using the power of the state of Illinois to not do any business with El Salvador until this man is rightfully returned to the United States, from which he is not a citizen. That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. I have so many more of these to get to. And by the way, if you want to tune into the live stream, you can at any point. I see that Annie is chiming in there, so you can talk to all of us. We're on the radio. She is on the way to the event with Byron Donalds. And of course, hopefully she's going to be a part of the show when she gets there and when she gets settled in. So keep it here. I haven't even mentioned our next guest yet. I'm very, very excited for this. A long, long resume for Jonathan Kite, who is in town this weekend. He is going to be at the Streets of St. Charles, of course, our home away from home when it comes to comedy. Love having comedians in. Jonathan Kite is in studio next. You're going to want to hear some of his impersonations, which are dynamite. Stick around.
Rolling like rivers, running with grace into the ocean of your embrace. Your hand on my side.
Annie's out, Ryan and Brad are in. This is the Mannie Frey Show.
I hear the music heaven has made. Oh, when we're standing face to face.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is found online at igotfloored.com with 3 locations in the St. Louis area. You can ensure that if you visit them online or in store, that you are going to get great customer service, the attention to detail that you care about, and really, really high quality products. Michael's Flooring Outlet understands that you want to make sure your dollar stretches as far as it can, but not at the cost of good quality products. Whether it's hardwood flooring like the Techwood Plus line, whether it is carpeting, the Mohawk Smart Strand line of carpeting with superior performance, Michael's Flooring Outlet will help you through this process. You can request an estimate online and make sure that you have a confidence about your purchase that is going to cause you to be somebody who recommends Michael's Flooring Outlet to the next folks who say, oh my gosh, your flooring is so beautiful. Where did you get it? You can find them in store in 3 different locations across St. Louis, but online at igotfloored.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. A question I get all the time is, how did we become the largest injury firm in the world? We have over 1,000 lawyers in all 50 states and close to 6,000 coworkers. Our call center is on duty 24/7. You can reach us at any time at forthepeople.com. But the real reason is we won a lot. When you visit our website, go to our verdicts and settlements. There you will see what our clients were offered and what they were awarded at trial. All those verdicts help us resolve many cases fairly and early. You see, nothing beats reputation. The insurance industry knows who we are. We even have insurance adjusters call us for representation because they know too. We've made it easy. On your mobile device or computer, go to forthepeople.com and we will get busy. It's that easy. Call today. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
A message for qualified investors from Noble Gold Investments. If your portfolio is over $250,000 and you aren't hedged, you're sitting on a ticking time bomb. With markets at all-time highs, history tells us what comes next. A 10% allocation into gold and silver can help diversify. Experienced investors know that in times of economic uncertainty, real assets, not paper promises, offer true security. Noble Gold Investments makes it easy to add institutional-grade gold and silver to your portfolio, so you can hedge like the world's smartest investors. For nearly a decade, Noble Gold has helped thousands of Americans protect their future, turning numbers on a screen into real, tangible assets. And right now, when you make a qualified investment, Noble Gold will add a free 10th-ounce gold coin to your order. Disciplined investors protect what they've built. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com today. noblegoldinvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
You're listening to the Mannie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Annie's out, Ryan and Brad are in. This is the Mannie Frey Show.
Well, I'm not sure how to introduce him. Jonathan Kite is here, and I was going to say, well, Donald Trump is here or Tom Hanks is here. Let's just start and say, I can't believe Annie is at the White House interviewing Donald Trump, but so are we.
So great to be here. Absolutely unbelievable. Okay, excuse me, is the mic on? Very fantastic. This is a great studio. Beautiful, wonderful, very beautiful studio. Okay, I came in. My tie was dragging on the ground and somebody picked it up for me. Like Eeyore's donkey tail. They wrap it around, throw it over your shoulder like a continental soldier. Your ears hang low? No, but my tie does. Very low. I don't need a Roomba because the tie just picks up dirt.
Well, that's great. That's fantastic. Jonathan Kite is here, and the man of many, many characters. So the first time that I've probably seen you in many things because you've done a lot of stuff. But recently, I was shocked to see that you had gone viral for Tom Hanks.
Oh, yeah.
Is that like the top thing an entertainer can do anymore is go viral?
I mean, social media is its own thing, right? Because you could be known for like being on a hit TV show or in a hit movie, but social media is truly like its own college or whatever campus.
Yeah.
And so you can go big there, but sometimes it translates to other forms of media, sometimes it doesn't. But it's funny, you're the second person to bring up the Tom Hanks this weekend.
Really?
And it's like, the truth is the internet is the world, and the world is a lot of people. So even if it goes millions of hits or whatever, you're not sure that people have still seen it.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. And it's all algorithm based.
Yeah.
They might say, oh, you really like this kind of thing.
Sure.
And everybody will have also seen it because they're your friends.
Right.
But there's a whole world out there that has no clue that you do an amazing Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I mean, so like for a TV show, right, they advertise the heck out of it. So maybe you never saw Two Broke Girls, but you heard of it.
Yes.
Or you've seen something else that it's been talked about, where it's like the videos on social media, they're completely isolated. Unless they're a series, then it's just like if that one-off is a joke and then it just does well or it doesn't, whatever, and then people have heard of it or they haven't, and you have no idea.
Is it even worth it to try to get, like, for what you do?
Yeah.
Because you're already known.
Yeah.
Is it worth it to try to cultivate, like, be an influencer, or are you like, no, that's supplementary?
I do it to get stand-up fans because I've been doing it for a long time, but I think a lot of people just don't know that I do stand-up. And so I'll come to a city, and I've been doing it, 15 years, and then I'll come and I'll play a city for the first time, for whatever reason. And then someone will say, man, I didn't even know you did this. So whereas because stand-up has such a great platform on social media that they'll find me through other people.
Do people think you're Ukrainian?
For a long time they did.
Really?
I mean,
because of your character on Two Broke Girls?
Yes. Yes, for a long time. I had immigration problems. No. Yeah, it was crazy because like that's why I shaved the beard.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like my hair is kind of long because I'm doing a movie in a week or two and I got to grow it out for it. But I usually keep it pretty short. I was in Chicago and I was playing, I can't remember, one of the clubs, and this cab driver was taking me to the hotel and he's like looking at me in the rearview mirror like the whole time, and I'm like, whatever, who knows. And then he turns around, he pulls into the parking spot and he goes, "Can I just say something?" He goes, I don't want to offend you. He goes, "Have you ever seen the show Two Broke Girls?" I said, "Yeah, I've seen the show." He goes, "I don't know if you're going to take offense to this, but you look like the guy in the kitchen." He's like, he's obviously a lot older and fatter than you, but you look like this guy. And I said, "Oh, well, thank you."
That's with the beard or without?
With the beard.
That's with the beard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still, when my hair is long like this and in my face, I still get recognized. But when I had the beard, it was like people were like that character. So I had to just shave it off.
You had to become a different person.
Dude, I'm in my own witness protection program.
Right. Jonathan Kite will be at the streets of St. Charles tonight, 7:30 and 9:30. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock, 8:30. That's the first plug. We're going to do this several times.
So
there are 4 shows coming up. You need to see at least one of them. We go. Brad, you've been to several shows
all the time.
Yeah, it's so fun. Jonathan, it's one of those things that stand up to me is so different now than it used to be.
Absolutely.
And I don't know that it's COVID. I don't know that it's just a different era of entertainment, but I tried when I first broke into entertainment.
It's the tariffs. No.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Everything's local.
They took it COVID and now they're taking this. No, it is. It's very different. And social media, I think, is the biggest reason for that.
It's better now, right? I mean, seeing a live show is more different than it used to be.
Well, I think seeing a live show is better because I do think that from COVID.
Yeah.
Where people were trapped inside and even if your state was open, it was sort of taboo. And then even your favorite comedians, some of them were touring, some of them weren't.
Right.
And it felt like for a while that might have been forever. You know how many guys and girls who came out of retirement because I think that they felt mortality. Of like, oh, this could not be it, but it's like, you really have to make hay while the sun, you got to get out there and do it. So what I think the best thing about comedy is today, not that it's better or worse, there is there's a bigger variety, and then there's more things that you can enjoy. More groups of people are being represented, and there's more point of views out there than there ever have been before.
Completely agree.
And it doesn't feel like, oh man, you got that spot, now I can't get it. It's like, no, the internet is unlimited.
Yeah.
There's unlimited. You could, whatever type of comedy you're into, you can find 5 people that do it or whatever. So it feels like that there's just so much out there, which I think it makes that just a better opportunity for everybody.
It is the way you pitch yourself as, this is the guy that does all the characters, or are you like, no, it's a viewpoint. Like you said, like I cater to this type of person.
I have to tell people all the time that because people would come up after, and want to have like TED Talk discussions with me about stuff. And I'm just like, I'm just up here telling jokes. I mean, you thought I was actually a Ukrainian chef in the, like, it's like, I love how somebody took that and was like, okay, well now this guy's probably serious about what he's talking about. That it's like, so for me, these are just thoughts that I've had. Some of them I agree with, some of them I don't agree with. I'm just sort of talking about what's on my mind.
How do we weave right now? Because we got like 8 more minutes.
8 more minutes.
Oh yeah, we got plenty of time.
Okay.
How do we weave into like a great impression? Because I don't want to like throw you a scenario and be like, oh hey, you're in an elevator.
You can name me anybody. I don't care.
Okay. Then I definitely want to hear Tom Hanks.
Hi, Tom Hanks here. Hi guys, how are you? I'm happy to be here. I was just rapping with my son Chet. well, yes, we were in Jamaica. I'm the new face of Red Stripe Beer.
This is my impression of Chet Hanks. Everything's gonna be irate. Everything can be irate.
I love Bob Marley. I love Bob Marley.
It's funny to hear you do it because the clip that went viral, it's basically you just laughing.
You know, it's funny. I tried to do it like talking, all this other stuff, but sometimes, especially with an impression, just the one thing that people like is like a sound. It's not that I can't talk as him because I've done it, but what gets the hardest laughs is the stuff that's sort of the most on the spectrum, like the hardest hitting of what he sounds like. And I think that's true of most people. I mean, every now and then we like to listen to Christopher Walken because it feels like everything
it's a
in
song.
His register is sitting all over the place.
That's not even on your list.
No, it's up there, up, down, ooh, baby. Remember that old Peter? Remember Peter and the Wolf?
Yeah.
That old cartoon where they all had their own instruments. He was his own instrument. Chris Walken, boom, boom, shoulders, yes. You know, it's like, so people, they just like, that's like, even with the Trump, right? I do Trump at a rally because I always say that he never understands how a microphone works because he's right here being like, this is unbelievable, so great, you know? And then he gets in front of a lot of people and the microphone is doing the same thing, but he goes, I love this. I love St. Louis. So great. St. Louis, the Cardinals. And you're like, the mic is still on. He's shouting, this is unbelievable. You know, like what? But it's hitting those, you know, because again, you could talk like it's very good. You could do that.
Yeah,
but
it's two different characters almost.
100%. Well, he's also changed so much because he's been relevant for so long. So it's like, you know, my favorite is The Apprentice Trump. Very direct, very excuse me, very direct. He knew the mic was right here. Television savvy Trump, you know. And now he's just older, so his voice is getting a little thin. It's getting a little thin, you know. He's getting up there, but he can still shout when he needs to.
It's so funny because even when you're doing that, it's like, duh, I've heard Trump do that very thing 1,000 times, but I've never realized until hearing you do it that he absolutely will say a few things about where he's at, and then just like a comment about the room. Lights, you know, like
look at these lights, the brightest lights here. Okay, St. Louis, they do bright lights. Okay, he does it, dude. He's like a musician who's like, "How we feeling tonight, St. Louis?" He tells you how you're feeling.
Yeah,
he doesn't ask. We're feeling very good because Trump's in the house.
Oh, okay. A comment just came in.
Sure.
Now I have to share this with you
Please.
because it's from the host of the show, Mannie Frey.
Oh, hi, Annie.
She's listening to you right now.
Thank you.
She says, can you do an endorsement for the Mannie Frey Show as Trump?
Mannie Frey, okay. Sometimes I have vocal fry, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the unbelievable at 10 and 11, some say. An 11, some say a Spinal Tap 11. Mannie Frey, what a fox. What an unbelievable fox. Not Fox News, this fox, okay? Believe me. Fantastic. Listen all the time because she's so smart, so unbelievably smart. And then if I have to do it in a big room, Mannie Frey, you love her. She's so great. Look at this Annie. Isn't she fantastic? So fantastic. Like Mr. Fantastic, Fantastic Four.
Oh, man.
Amazing.
I was trying to be really quiet because that's going to live forever now. You know that.
Whatever.
Yeah. I was trying to be real quiet and people are knocking things down in the studio all over the place because they're amazed.
Knocking them dead.
Love and thank you. A lot of thanks from Annie there.
Thanks for having me,
Jonathan.
Thank you.
Before we break here and mention a couple more times again, he's at Funny Bone, Streets of St. Charles tonight, 7:30, 9:30, and then tomorrow 6 o'clock and 8:30. Obviously, you're gonna have a blast. What movie can you talk about the stuff you're working on right now?
Sure.
What are you working on?
I just did a movie called Sneaks, which
Okay.
is out in theaters right now. It's produced by Lawrence Fishburne. It has Keith David, Anthony Mackie, Martin Lawrence.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Animated film about sneakers and
shoes.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And then I have another film coming out later this year. That's another animated one. That's it's out of Japan. And it's a Japanese fairy tale that's with me and Adam Devine and J.K. Simmons, and it's about the Monkey King, which is like a huge mythology for them. And then I just wrapped a film in Portland with Zach Gilford from Friday Night Lights and T.J. Miller, and then I think that's coming out later this year. And then
my gosh, you're more busy than almost anybody in entertainment.
I mean,
right
you
now.
got to be busy, baby.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm doing another. I just
Well, I'm on the TED. They're doing the new TED animated show with Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, I didn't know it was animated.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're doing it. They're doing it with everybody's back. Mark Wahlberg, everybody. It's amazing.
Wow.
So we're doing that coming up. I've been recording episodes of that. That's super fun. And yeah, and then I got a movie that we're doing that I wrote that I think we're going to film at the end of the year. That's going to be, we're going to shoot in Kentucky. So,
gosh, I got so many more questions for you because I saw you did your Mr. Show Quantum Leap.
Oh, dude,
sketch comedy stuff.
Bro, we did this charity event, and then there was an audition to replace David Cross, and it was
on Mr. Show.
Yeah, but it was like a joke. It was live,
Oh,
and
okay.
they had us, and he was there in the background on a giant screen, and Bob Odenkirk read sketches with all of us, and it was great. I mean, it was like Tom Kenny and Jerry Minor from Saturday Night Live, and Brian Posehn, who obviously was a part of them, and me, a couple other people, Stephanie Courtney, the brilliant Stephanie Courtney, who's Flo, the Progressive.
Yeah.
She's the best, so funny. And then I came dressed as David Cross, and then
you could probably pull that
yeah,
off.
and then all I did was argue with him about how bad the sketch was, and then David Cross like, this is the guy.
That's awesome.
He thinks the sketch is bad. This is him, bro.
Are you pretty good friends with Thomas Lennon?
Oh, I love Thomas.
Because I saw you were in quite a few things with him, and I'm a state fanatic.
The brother, he's one of the people. It's always great to meet people that you admire. He is one of the classiest, funniest, best human beings. We did a movie together out in Arizona a few years back, and just have stayed friends ever. He is just the best.
That's great to know because I obviously never met the guy, but
Oh
I've
my
been a
God.
fan for a long time. I actually got Michael Ian Black to endorse my book randomly.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which was like a huge career milestone. I couldn't believe it.
I don't know Michael, but I'm a fan. But but Tom is truly like as good of a guy and as funny of a guy as you think he is going to be.
That is great to know.
Yeah, it's as high of a praise as I can give anyone. I mean, that guy is truly the greatest.
So as we conclude here, Annie is still listening here.
Hi, Annie.
Hi, Annie. She says now you have to make fun of me, basically for fangirling if you want to, like Trump.
Make fun of you?
Make fun of me like Trump. That's the request.
Wiggins.
Now you don't have to follow through if you don't want.
Does Annie want it though?
She's asking for
All right.
it.
Well, Annie's having me on the show.
Okay.
Wiggins, you look terrible. Okay, excuse me. I eat KFC every day, but you look like a bucket of chicken. Okay, and the dark meat, a lot of fat. Okay, a lot of gristle. Excuse me. You look like a Monster Energy drink grew a goatee. Not good. I'm a Diet Coke man myself. I have 50 a day. Okay, you look like an energy drink, but not one that we would have in the White House. Something that Sleepy Joe would take and fall asleep on. Okay.
That's super offensive.
It's great, is what it is.
I didn't think that was funny at all.
But more importantly, what did Annie think?
She loved it.
Oh, okay.
So you're fine. All right, Jonathan Kite is going to be at the streets of St. Charles tonight, 7:30 and 9:30 tomorrow, 6 o'clock and 8:30. You are going to have a blast, unless you're me and you get made fun of.
Bucket of chicken.
Bucket of chicken. Oh, I could talk about KFC for another whole segment.
KFC.
We'll come back and do a full KFC segment right after this. Jonathan Kite, go see him, Streets of St. Charles, and we will be right back with Wiggins America.
This is the Mannie Frey Show. The Mannie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
All along the Western Front, people line up to receive. She got the power in her hand to show.
History is happening in D.C. and 97.1 FM Talk is on the inside. Our very own Mannie Frey has been selected to join the national press pool covering President Trump's 100th day in office.
I'm going to Washington, and you're coming with me.
Exclusive access, unfiltered insight, local coverage, and we're inviting you along.
I'm Mannie Frey reporting from the White House starting Monday on 97.1 FM Talk.
Annie Goes to Washington is presented by Stewart's American Mortgage and Grasser Electric.
Camping season is here, and so is the Apache Village RV Open House. Join us Friday, May 2nd and Saturday, May 3rd at two great locations, 9001 Dunn Road in Hazelwood and 971 Wilmer Road in Wentzville. Apache Village RV, family owned for over 50 years, is here to help you hit the road and make lifelong memories. Explore 200 plus new and used RVs from Jayco, Keystone, Fleetwood, and Bontrager Outdoors. And right now is the best time to buy. Tariffs are pushing the 2026 prices up, but 2024s and 2025s are still at the lowest prices of the year. With payments starting at just $160 a month with approved credit, your next adventure is closer than ever. Enjoy free food, drinks, door prices, and huge savings all weekend. Mention this 97.1 ad and get a shot at $500 to the Apache Village Parts Store, Apache Village RV, where your journey begins the moment you walk through the door. Go one better. Go Apache Village RV.
This could be the number 1 tax saving strategy for your retirement savings, and it's hidden inside IRS tax code section 1.408A-4. Discover what it is and how you can make your money go further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. Hey, it's Sue Thomas, and this is a one-night class. It's taught by advisors from financial and tax architects. They have decades of financial planning experience, and they hold these at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis, and you'll learn about reducing your taxes, maximizing Social Security, paying for health care, and more. And they do it for free, but bring 3 canned goods for St. Louis Crisis Nursery. There are a few openings left for classes this month, so register now by calling 314-947-2012, 314-947-2012. That's 314-947-2012.
Celebrate April with store-wide savings on all in-stock jewelry at the Diamond Shop, located at 12 North Central in Clayton. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. Stop in today.
Today's YouTube live chat poll, and I bet you're disappointed that Donald Trump is not doing the time check for us, but it's Brad. So anyway, today's YouTube live chat poll, will there be a major announcement on Tuesday, Trump's 100th day? As you know, Annie's going to be out there. So our options are this: yes, on trade deals; yes, something surprising, I'm not really sure, use your imagination on that one; or no, but they'll act like there is. Jump on Annie's YouTube page, vote in the live chat poll, leave us a comment telling us why you voted the way you voted. The time is 12:46, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Mark Reardon Show.
David's wife. Do you remember at the beginning of the pandemic, the flattened curve meme and all those graphs they would show us? Those models were based, at least in part, on completely made up information.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Annie's out, Ryan and Brad are in. This is the Mannie Frey Show.
Man, I never really understood podcasts, even though we do one every day. I just don't get how people can sit and do the long form interview with one, because we do interviews that are 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We move along. Talking to Jonathan Kite, that's one of the first times I've ever said I could do 2 hours with this guy.
You get it at that point.
He's so good, because we've interviewed a lot of comedians, and each one's very, very different. Like he was saying, there's such a broad spectrum of comedy now, which is awesome. But sitting there and talking to him, he a lot of guys are leading you to their material. He was not doing that.
No,
he was just hanging out.
Well, it was neat to listen to you guys talk shop, like what goes on, the process, all of that stuff.
It's a couple of comedians.
Super cool.
Until he offended me at the end. That was
yeah, but
rough.
he did it for a good cause.
But just
bucket of chicken
to give people a behind the scenes too. Even before you guys went on air, yes, is there anything you want to discuss? He's like, whatever you want, just whatever you want.
We'll promote the show.
That's how you know someone's funny.
Just go for it.
They're just like,
just go for it.
Just wherever you want to go.
So if you guys like that, make sure you get out. I'll go over to the STL Funny Bone, or I think it's stlewisfunnybone.com, and get some tickets for tonight's show or tomorrow's show.
7:30, 9:30 tonight,
and then
6 o'clock, 8:30 tomorrow.
Yep.
So there you go. So we have. I guess I got to sort of tease the intro here a little bit too, as Brad finds it, because normally when Annie's out, Ethan or Brad, but usually Ethan fills in for Wiggins America. And it has been brought to my attention that we should not be playing the Wiggins America intro when Ethan is filling in for Wiggins America. It just doesn't make any sense. So I went ahead and, by request, made a new open for Ethan's America. Brad's shaking his head like he can't find it. So
I think I found it. I just don't have it available to me just yet.
He's close.
I'm working on it, guys.
So as soon as he gets there, we'll do B or not the B. But until then, how you doing?
I think I got it now. Guys, I think I got it. I hope this is the right one.
All right, here we go.
Not Wiggins America, Ethan's America. Ethan's America.
Now you can start talking over the
Wow.
sad music.
Wow.
Annie's listening
Annie
to all this.
approves.
She approves.
Are you kidding me, Annie?
Yeah. Really, the whole
You're
point of
better than that, Annie.
was just Kevin Sorbo as Hercules yelling disappointed.
Hey, you got Hercules to do your intro.
Listen, you have always talked about the goal is to fail onward and upward. For
I don't
me and
actually
Wiggins
say
America. For me and Wiggins America, that was the first piece of advice. And I have held on to that
That
every
was off
single.
air. That was between me and you as a tender moment.
Well, now it's for everyone. Oh, I have brought that up to everyone on air at least 10 times.
It's your segment.
Well, I'm saying that intro sets me up perfectly for failure. That's what I was going for. So
okay.
thank you.
B or not to B?
Yes, where you decide if it is real or satire from the Babylon Bee. So here we go. Let's get started. First one, South American countries outraged at being flooded with their own citizens.
That's B. But again, it's true.
I think it's the B.
It is the B. As Trump's deportation efforts continue, leaders from several South American countries have expressed their outrage at having their sovereign countries flooded by an influx of their own citizens. According to leaders from Colombia, Ecuador, and Venezuela, Trump's deportations are unjustly violating their country's rights to not be flooded by their own citizens. We cannot sustain the tidal wave of our own citizens coming back over our borders, complained Colombian President Gustavo Petro. Colombia is being overrun by all the violent criminal Colombian citizens Trump is funneling into our country. His immigration policies must be stopped right away.
That's one of the most shocking real stories of the last 4 years, is that they were emptying out their prisons and just being like,
Just
go to America.
Yeah.
We don't care.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
That's incredible.
It is relieving that it is finally being addressed.
It is being addressed slowly because of all the court orders.
Yes, very slowly. Okay, next one here. Sad story. This guy just spent $500,000 on an Ivy League education, but all he knows how to do now after graduating is chant Free Palestine.
Wait a minute. I was going to say this is real, but now I'm thinking that might be, it's got to be the B.
Brad?
The B.
It is the B.
Man, you did a good job presenting that one. I thought no way that was going to be the B.
Local man Asher Grayson, who recently graduated. Yeah,
Asher Grayson.
That's an
I cannot
SEC school name. That's not an Ivy League school name.
I cannot think of a more Gen Z name.
Asher Grayson, who recently graduated from Harvard, with a degree in neuroscience, confessed he feels woefully unprepared to join the workforce because the only thing he knows how to do is chant Free Palestine. He says, I'm starting to think my $500,000 of student debt wasn't worth it because I don't know a thing about molecular neuroscience, said Dr. Grayson, who finally earned his PhD in 2024. Free Palestine, he says. Boy,
I don't even know if the B meant to do this, but Asher is a Jewish name.
Is it really now?
It is. It's one of the 12 tribes.
How ironic is that?
I don't think that they meant that.
I don't think that slips by them.
No, you think they knew?
I think they were all over that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, you are probably right. Okay, next one here as we continue moving forward with the B or not the B. Deion Sanders' son had a custom-built draft room and then went undrafted in the first round.
Ooh, this got to be real, right?
Yeah, this is real.
This is indeed
I've
real.
not heard this.
So Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders is the son of NFL legend, Hall of Famer, and current Colorado football head coach Deion Sanders. He was expected to be a top pick.
Coach Prime.
In this year's NFL draft. Sanders has always been a flashy player like his father was, and even to the point where he would wear gold watches during games, and even when he'd score a touchdown, he would show his gold watch to the crowd. So
Okay,
I mean,
I was going to make fun of that, but that's pretty cool.
it's pretty flashy, and he quickly became an enemy of quite a few fans out there who weren't necessarily the biggest fan of it. But he continued on with the flashiness, taking it to another level when he had an entire draft room built inside of his house. So this room included multiple shelves that included every NFL team's hat so that he could pick out the one that for the team that drafted him. He also had a sitting area that had this crazy designed wallpaper on the floor in the wall behind him that had all these words like legendary and perfect timing and dollar signs everywhere. I guess the word legendary is that's like his thing. He's trying to coin it for himself because the word was
copyrighted.
The word was all over the room that he had built for this.
We're gonna have to pay Deion Sanders' son about $15,000 after this segment.
The only problem though is that he didn't get drafted on draft night, which was last night.
Okay, why
round
didn't
was
he
last night.
if everybody thought he was going to?
As I mentioned, Sanders was originally expected to be a top pick, but in recent days he fell down the board. When rumors started floating around that NFL coaches were really unimpressed with him in their interviews, he chose not to throw at the NFL Combine, which is an opportunity for guys. Usually, the only people that don't throw are guys that are like, this could hurt me, right? So you have to be at the top of the list, having already proven everything you need to prove. And Shedeur Sanders, I guess, viewed him in that category.
And they're like, nope, you're not that high up.
Basically, unless there's an injury or something, but there's nothing that we knew of.
That would hurt his
even then.
standing too then.
Right. So there was an unnamed NFL assistant coach that was quoted saying, the worst formal interview I've ever been in my life.
Does that mean interview in the sense that we know it, like talking to him, or tryout?
Yes. So how that works is basically every single player sits down with coaches from all of the teams, and they're asking them different questions about the playbook.
They're just talking.
Yeah, and they were very
and it was
unimpressed.
bad. Oh man,
that
wow.
bad. So let's see if he gets drafted tonight, round 2.
Ethan knows his sports. In fact, Ethan is going to come back later in the show because he was at the Blues game last night in the press pool, like Mannie Frey is going to be on Monday and Tuesday at the White House. Stick around. We got more Mannie Frey Show coming up next.
Yeah, I bet your daddy's so proud.
It's that time once again. You know what I'm talking about. Retirement Advisory Group's next seminar is coming up on Tuesday, May 20th. And I can't wait to see you there at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. This is an easy event to attend. It does not take up a whole bunch of your time. You're going to be able to learn from Thomas Helbig, from Tammy and Bob Kershaw about how to protect your retirement. That's why they call it the Protecting Your Retirement Educational Event. Again, Tuesday, May 20th at 6:30 p.m. at the Frontenac Hilton. I'm going to get there at 6 o'clock. I'm going to meet as many of you as I can, get there early and say hi. I would love to get to know you and learn your name. And then I turn you over, along with Mark Cox and Mark Reardon, to the folks at the Retirement Advisory Group. And then it's maybe 45 minutes of sitting in there and learning what they can do for you to make sure that your transition into retirement is a very, very easy one. You can reserve your spot online, 314-993-9494 at retirementkey.com.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the
the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. We call them the doctors because they've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any other practice in St. Louis. So if you're looking for the best doctors for your best vision, it's Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. Doctors Birdie and Malhotra are cornea surgeons and experts in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. I had an eye disease when I was younger. It left me with a silicone buckle around my right eye, so I put my trust in Ophthalmology Associates to take care of my annual checkups. Maybe you're experiencing dry eye, allergy eyes. They can help. They can help with cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, and LASIK surgeries. And if you're looking for the best eye care, it's Ophthalmology Associates. Make an appointment today by calling 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com. They have a great office location just west of 270 on Manchester Road. Again, the phone number, 314-966-5000. The website, youridoc.com. Ophthalmology Associates.
If you're a supporter of the Second Amendment, you need to be a member of the Reign St. Louis West. Mark Cox here. You know, they get free lanes and free firearm rentals, 5% off firearms and suppressors, 10% off accessories, and 15% off classes. The new benefit on Sundays from 10 to noon, the lanes are for members only. And in April, you get 2 free basic cleanings of a modern firearm. Check them out at 14803 Manchester Road in Baldwin, TheRangeSTL.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
A warning from the U.S. Attorney General. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
I think some of these judges think they are beyond and above the law, and they are not.
Attorney General Pam Bondi, after a county judge in Wisconsin was arrested, accused of helping an illegal immigrant evade arrest at her courthouse. And in New Mexico, now former judge and his wife are accused of harboring a suspected Venezuelan gang member, also giving him access to guns.
We're sending a very strong message today. If you are harboring a fugitive, we don't care who you are. If you are helping hide one, if you are giving a TDA member guns, anyone who is illegally in this country, we will come after you and we will prosecute you.
The Wisconsin judge is charged with obstructing a proceeding and concealing an individual to prevent arrest. The New Mexico judge, who recently resigned, facing charges of evidence tampering. Back in court in New York City, Luigi Mangione just pleading not guilty to federal murder charges in the death of United Health Group executive Brian Thompson.
Our courtroom producer said he appeared calm, despite the fact that federal prosecutors wrote in a late-night court filing they will seek the death penalty if he is convicted, telling the judge he is a future danger, saying he has an intent to target the entire healthcare industry and rally others against it.
Fox's CB Cotton at federal court in Manhattan. Mangione had already pleaded not guilty to state charges. The federal indictment also includes charges of stalking and gun-related counts. Former New York Congressman George Santos, who lied about his life story and deceived donors, is sentenced to more than 7 years in prison after pleading guilty to fraud and identity theft.
He told lie after lie until it caught up with him, until we caught up with him and exposed him for what he truly was, an opportunist and a fraud.
Nassau County DA Ann Donnelly. The Vatican just confirming more than 250,000 people paid respects to Pope Francis in 3 days of public viewing that just ended. America's listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
They bullied us.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy, and unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Temperatures still quite mild for late April, 78 doing it for the high today. There'll be some showers from time to time. Any thunderstorms, non-severe. It's not going to be raining all the time. Any showers fade quickly early evening. Most of the night is dry, 55. The weekend looks good. Saturday, partly sunny, though cooler, 69. Sunday, partly to mostly sunny, 74. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist, Dave Murray.
AirComfortService.com. You are looking for the people you can trust to come into your home and rectify the air conditioner that isn't doing the trick. It's blowing, but it's not blowing cool air, or it's not blowing when it's supposed to be. You're not achieving that comfort zone temperature. Whatever it is for you, you want to make sure that you have someone that you can trust to come into your home and solve that issue for you. If you are looking for maintenance, somebody who can come in and ensure that you're doing the, month-to-month maintenance, the season-to-season maintenance on your HVAC system that helps keep you from having to deal with those very costly repairs, well, you can also reach out to Air Comfort Service and sign up for their maintenance plan. And if you pay monthly, the 12th month is free. Air Comfort Service is there to keep you in your comfort zone. They can help keep you comfortable with the purified air in your home as well. If you talk to them about a whole home air purifier, everything you need to know about HVAC, insulation, all of it at aircomfortservice.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate. Paid for by Bayer.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Oh yeah, this is the moment you have been waiting for.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom.
Annie's out. Ryan and Brad are in.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
This is the Mannie Frey Show.
We had a very successful bilateral meeting with the Republic of South Korea today. We may be moving faster than I thought, and we will be talking technical terms as early as next week as we reach an agreement on understanding as soon as next week. So South Koreans came early, they came with their A game, and we will see if they follow through on that.
Market's got to like that. Trade deals in the works. Donald Trump, that is Scott Bessent saying that, the Treasury Secretary. Today's YouTube live chat poll is, will there be a major announcement on Tuesday, Trump's 100th day? We haven't answered this poll yet, and I think the first person that should answer the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll today should be Annie Frey. Annie, hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. You're on the road.
Wow, this is weird. What was that intro that I just heard?
That was the Mannie Frey Show. We should have just played the regular one since you're here.
Yeah, no kidding.
Thank you for doing the Mannie Frey Show today. I appreciate it. Here comes that. Yeah, I told you I've been trying to get to Schaumburg, which is where we're going today, to go to the Illinois Republican Party Red Gala. I got an invitation to come join a lot of the people in the Illinois State Republican Party at this big event that they do. Congressman Byron Donalds, governor of Florida hopeful, I think. Byron Donalds is going to be speaking today, so I'm going to get to be in a small group of people with him and have a conversation with him. But the plan was to get up to Schaumburg before noon and do this whole show with you. And that didn't happen because I was helping my kid with a project last night late. So we're trying this from the car, literally on the YouTube live stream with you and on the air on the Mannie Frey Show in traffic. Where are we?
About 75, 80
We're
miles south of
exit
Chicago.
217, which is Dwight. That's where we are right now.
217. Oh, so you already passed exit 126, which is the Russell Stover outlet.
Good math.
I'm just making sure because I just took that drive last week.
We stopped at Wally's.
Oh, you're way up there then. You're already way up there. You're
We're
close.
trying. We're doing
So
our
are
best.
you
We're
actually going
sitting
to
in
have
traffic
some
now.
FaceTime with Byron Donalds?
Yeah. I was supposed to be a part of, there's like these big fundraisers, there's like tiers of, you have a big name like Byron Donalds come in and then there are tiers of groups that help make the fundraisers possible so that they can do all the fundraising. So they usually have like, a small, more personal thing. We have Kill Meet In, we do VIP events and stuff like that too. So there was a VIP event I was going to be a part of, but there was a smaller roundtable that was supposed to happen before the VIP event. And I found out yesterday or the day before that they're going to let me go into that small roundtable event with him. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh, that's super cool.
When you meet him, are you going to tell him about the first thing first? I'm going to be in the White House on Monday and Tuesday.
No, I'm not going to say that. No.
Are you going to tell him Trump gave you a shout out today?
That was so funny. That was so great. And you don't look like a bucket of chicken.
Well, I feel like a bucket of chicken,
Kinda
and
smells
I
like one,
eat
though.
a lot of buckets of chicken. So he wasn't real far off, but he didn't know that. So I was
He
still
was
offended.
a great guest. I was sad that I didn't get to be there when he was in, but you guys did a great job with him. Everybody should go see him at the streets of St. Charles. It'd be really, really fun time.
Annie, this feels a little bit too informal, like we're just hanging out. So
You want me to stop?
I know.
can hang up.
I just want to know, like, should we talk more about Byron Donalds, because this guy is ascendant. He's clearly a national name at this point, and you got invited to go meet with him. I actually I've never seen him in person, but I have seen him standing with Jared Moskowitz and realized Byron Donalds is very tall.
Okay, it's funny that you say that because I myself am 5'8". I don't like to be around people who I want to have photos with and be like towering over them. I Googled him. He's 6'2", so I can wear my heels.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, that's part of the research that I don't know if all women do that. This isn't X's and Y's, but I bet you've never Googled how tall someone is before you met him, have you?
I think I probably have. I don't remember who.
You're like, are they taller than 5'5"? I don't want to be,
Because I'm 5'12".
That's exactly right. You're 5'12".
I'm 5'12".
You're 5'12", Ryan Wiggins. I did a hit on Camo X earlier today
I heard
for the pep rally. Did you hear that?
I didn't get to hear the segment, but I heard that you did it as
Classic
usual.
Wiggins.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
I'm
know it
aware that
exists.
it exists in the universe, but I know nothing else about it. But I will tell you that I'm fully aware, and please don't follow up.
We got some comments coming in. Can I ask you a couple of questions from the live chat, Annie, while you're here?
I am in a car on a road for another 2 hours. You can ask me anything.
Joe asks, can Annie dunk?
Cookies? Yes. I do not dunk a basketball.
What about with a
I can in the
trampoline?
pool. I don't know. Trampolines terrify me. I'm not a trampoline supporter.
If somebody put you in a mascot costume and said, go dunk this basketball and gave you a trampoline, you couldn't do it?
Is it offensive mascot costume or is it
Depends.
like
Are you in Missouri or Illinois?
cuddly bear? Yeah. If it's in Illinois, it's probably offending someone. That's for sure. No, I can't. There's some cows. You guys want to see the cows?
I definitely
Go on,
want to
you
see
asked
some
the
cows.
question.
This is the most important thing.
This is a dynamic interview.
When you are on a road trip, you see cows. What do?
You say cows.
Well, of course you yell cows. That's what Molly, our 3-year-old, like it'll be silent. You'll think she's sleeping. If there's a cow, it's cow, and she will startle everybody. And she's not here, so I'm going to do it for you guys.
Well, let me follow up with the way we started this segment. What is your answer to today's YouTube live chat poll? Will there be a major announcement on Tuesday, Trump's 100th day?
I think that anybody in politics worth their salt better have huge announcements lined up for every day next week. And I was saying this a little bit yesterday, and then Brad found something and sent it to us in our group chat. I think that these trade deals, whatever they have right now, like, a gentleman's agreement or whatever it might be, that's got to materialize next week. And I'm like begging them to have that. I'm trying to will it into existence if it doesn't already exist. But they have to have something big on tariffs. They have to have some other things that they've been working on laid in. Another thing is, did you hear about Donald Trump talking about the flagpoles that he's putting into the White House? I don't think we've talked about that.
No, but I did see the
Did you hear
video.
about that?
Yeah. I'm aware the video exists.
I walked into that one. So they're going to put a flagpole in the front, both sides of the White House. And I think that I don't hear a lot of people talking about this. Donald Trump is paying for them. It's going on the Trump credit card. But Donald Trump's birthday is also Flag Day. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if Flag Day becomes a bigger deal with these flagpoles going on. I don't know how fast they can put them in, but I think that he's going to be doing some things that are really good, smart, pro-America PR that don't tick people off. I think we should get a healthy dose of that next week. I'm a yes on the poll.
Are there people that you think there's a good chance that you might see on Monday? I know you don't really know everything that's going to happen, but is there a chance that you might see him or somebody that we're familiar with from the cabinet or anything?
Yeah, I think so. I saw the video earlier this week. Donald Trump was walking out on the lawn, the White House lawn, to scope out places to put these flagpoles. And I sent this video to you guys, and I meant to play it on the show yesterday before I left. I forgot to. But the tweet that got put out was that the White House press corps didn't know that Trump was going to be coming out onto the lawn, and the press corps was apparently outside. And they show all of these reporters running in their like suits and dress suits and pantsuits, and they're just like hauling it over there. And I like kind of had a minor panic attack because I was like, I have to run. I can't be the idiot that's like standing back there, but I don't feel like I should be running after the president on the White House lawn. But if everybody else is doing it, then I will do it. I think that's the way next week is going to be. Like, I think it's the White House knows what they're going to do. And I think that it's going to be like drinking out of a fire hose for the country because they're going to have so much. Yesterday's poll was, how do you feel about the pace? And I think that the pace is part of the plan. Because if they're going in hard on tariffs and they're not doing anything else, then of course everybody's just going to talk about tariffs all the time, and it's going to get too much oxygen in the room. But when you look at what he's doing on the border, when you look at what he's doing to negotiate with Putin and Zelensky and try to end that conflict, all of these different things that he's trying to do, it's oversaturation. So not any one thing can swallow up all of the oxygen in the room. And I think that next week, I'm hoping, I would assume they're really good at messaging in politics, that next week, who knows who we'll see and when we'll see them. But for at least Monday and Tuesday, I'll be there to bring it to you folks listening to the show.
I don't think I've asked you this question yet. And really, this is the perfect opportunity because you can't get mad at me if I ask it and you don't like it because you're not here.
Okay.
You just send me a message, Annie. I'll take care of it.
Are you? No.
I'm pretty sure you'll know. I'm pretty sure Brad and I are in the
look at that body language. I think this is going to be a tough Wednesday. Are you nervous?
About what? Be more specific.
Are you nervous about being in the press room Tuesday specifically?
Yeah, but I said this to you off air, I think before the show started one of the days this week. When I got invited to fly with the Blue Angels last year, I was privately going to say no and not tell anyone, and even my own family, that was going to happen because I'm not cut out for that stuff. That's not the type of stuff that I do. But my kids found out about it. My husband found out about it, and they looked at me like, Mom, Annie, people don't get to just do this. You have to take this opportunity and you have to go do it. And it's either say no and feel very comfortable and content in my very predictable life, which is really what I've tried to build for myself, and I'm pretty happy with it, or say yes and have an experience of a lifetime. And there's a very similar feeling to this, like to go to the White House. It's a super high risk, high reward opportunity. And I said this earlier in the show, earlier this week, like I don't get this opportunity if you guys aren't listening to the Mannie Frey Show, if you guys aren't supporting 97.1. So I get to do this because of you folks who are listening, and I feel like I kind of have the opportunity to show you something very personally connected to our listenership and our Mannie Frey Show family, that if I turned it down, I'd be turning it down on behalf of a lot of people. And so if it's scary and it causes me anxiety, which it does, I just kind of got to hold my breath till it's over and then be like, wow, I really did that. Which every time I see anything with Blue Angels or watch Maverick where they're flying in Super Hornets, I'm like, you can ask my family. They're like, you did that. I'm like, I cannot believe I did that. It's so crazy.
On a scale of 1 to Jonathan Kite, which interview was better in this show so far? Yours or Jonathan Kite's?
Jonathan Kite. Are you kidding me? Get that guy back. Let him do next week too. That was so funny.
No
that
kidding.
was so funny. He's so good and chill. Like, you guys did a great job with that interview, but you did. It was just a good conversation. And I love the partnership we have with the Funny Bone, because these people come through town and they reach out to Brad and they're like, hey, can we come by? And we're like, yes, please. So I'm glad you're able to do that, even though I wasn't in.
So we've hit pretty much all the events that you're doing weekdays. We've hit the Byron Donalds today. We've hit the White House on Monday and Tuesday. So we got to mention Sunday, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Sunday's going to be so busy. 2 p.m. Pep rally, Save Our Mascots pep rally. And I know that there are going to be people who are at this pep rally at 2 o'clock, Collinsville High School football stadium there. All schools are welcome. It's not a Collinsville K-Hawk rally, although they are going to be there in full force. It's an everybody rally. I never was one of these patently offensive mascots myself. I say that in jest. But I support the idea of local control. You've got a state representative in Rockford pushing this out on the communities like Collinsville, like Muscuda, like Granite City, like Cahokia, like I think Carlisle, Calhoun, Westglen, all of these different places that are going to have to fund these people's offended, hurt feelings. That's not what we do. If you're at Freeburg, listen, if Freeburg goes, it's time to retire the midget, Freeburg should retire the midget if they think that's what the right thing to do, but they're the ones who are going to have to pay for it. Same thing with Collinsville, same thing with all of these other places that we're talking about. It is not right. Like, to pretend that the legislature, this is what really irks me, to pretend that they're solving any problem by passing this legislation and forcing these local communities to retire a mascot that they love is the epitome of virtue signaling. It makes me gag. I'm for local control. My presence at this rally, I'm going to be emceeing it and getting you guys in there and out of there. We're not going to be there for more than an hour. We're going to get this done. My thing is, if you want to pressure Collinsville to retire the K-Hawk, go to the community and say it's time you retire the K-Hawk. Then Collinsville is going to respond. And my understanding is Collinsville is going to tell you to pound sand. But it's up to them, and it's their money. So local control, that's what this is about.
We'll all be there Sunday, 2 o'clock. Collinsville High School football stadium is where everybody's gathering for that 60-minute rally. It's gonna be fun, actually, and we're all looking forward to it. Annie is in the midst of this.
I don't know if everybody knows, but I don't know if everybody knows that Ryan is a K-Hawk and Brad is a Freeburg midget.
Yeah.
So it
Vested
affects
interest.
us very closely, and you guys have a reason to be there that's very personal. So I'm happy to do it for people like you who want to protect what they're doing. World tour.
Well, I want to thank Mannie Frey for joining the Mannie Frey Show. It's been a real honor to have you on. From your car. It sounds pretty good. So I know we were worried about that. It sounds good. Looking at cows. It's raining where you are. Is it raining where we are yet?
Those are trees. Those are trees.
Those are trees.
If it's raining where those are not.
I've never seen a tree.
Ryan, are you a vegan?
We'll go over farm animals when we get back.
I don't know the difference. I'm just here in a big
Collinsville
city.
bovine.
I've never seen a
New
tree
mascot.
before. All right, Sunday at 2 o'clock, the Save Our Mascots rally. We'll all be there. And Annie is going to be back. Well, Annie's really going to be a part of the show every single day. And Annie, if you can come back in this show, if there's a reason to, the invitation's obviously open. So come back.
What do you mean if there's a reason
well,
to?
you know, if you're sitting with Byron Donalds, he's like, let's go live. Then let's do it. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, Annie. And we will be right back with, gosh, I haven't even teased this yet because this is breaking news. But we are going to have Representative David Freese on, Illinois legislator, because there's some big Illinois news regarding, you know what? I'm not even going to tell you what it is. Stick around. We're going to talk to him next and find out.
Your love is gone.
who will save me from all I'm up against out in this world. Maybe you'll find something that's enough to keep you.
Mannie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The Diamond Shop, located in Clayton, has been serving St. Louisans just like you all the way back to 1910. And if you visit them in their Clayton shop, you're going to quickly understand why people, once you've met the folks at the Diamond Shop, you keep going back to the folks at the Diamond Shop. You can start your process of shopping, of browsing online at thediamondshop.net. But when you walk into their beautiful store, it's lit up, it sparkles from ceiling to floor. You are going to understand that you're in the right place. They're going to respect you. They're going to ask you what you're looking for. They're going to listen to your budget, and they're going to find a solution that makes you proud to say to the next person, yes, I went to the Diamond Shop. You're going to get a little red bag. Oh, I love the little red bag. In April, hurry up, because April birthstone diamonds, in-stock diamond jewelry, 40% off. All in-stock jewelry, 30% off through the rest of April. You can find them in Clayton, in store, but online at thediamondshop.net.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of. And fact-check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
History is happening in D.C. and 97.1 FM Talk is on the inside. Our very own Annie Frey has been selected to join the national press pool covering President Trump's 100th day in office.
I'm going to Washington, and you're coming with me.
Exclusive access, unfiltered insight, local coverage, and we're inviting you along.
I'm Annie Frey, reporting from the White House, starting Monday on 97.1 FM Talk.
Annie Goes to Washington is presented by Stewart's American Mortgage and Grasser Electric.
The International Institute of St. Louis invites you to try international cuisine, support local immigrant-owned businesses, and more at their community bazaars. The bazaars are free and open to the public at the International Institute of St. Louis, located at 3401 Arsenal Street, and take place every other Friday from noon to 2 p.m. Learn more about the International Institute of St. Louis Community Bazaars at iistl.org/bazaar. Message supported by Together Credit Union.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save now with 2024 pricing and Carrier Cool Cash rebates up to $1,700 on a new HVAC system. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie's out, Ryan and Brad are in. This is the Mannie Frey Show.
It's fun being at the helm today because there's so much happening. An interview with Annie was we knew that could happen, but we didn't know when. And then she was just ready to go. So we said, okay, let's do it. We have a whole lot more to get to in this show. But even while that was happening, there's breaking news right now out of Illinois. And so often when we say that, it's, oh, listen to this new thing that they're doing. It's usually bad news. This is really, really good news, though. And so Representative David Freese, Illinois 115th District, is on to break this news with us. David, how's it going? Is he there? Oh, I got to add him. You got to add him? It's happening fast. There we go. David, hello.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for being with us on such short notice.
You bet. I appreciate you getting me on.
So we just heard, within the last 15 minutes, the news that is breaking. Can you go ahead and share it with us?
Yes. So we were in Springfield this week, and it's our understanding that the homeschool bill that the Democrats were pushing, it is dead at this time.
Wow. Okay. Before I get too excited, does that mean that they've scrapped it and they're going to redo it and come back next week, or is it dead?
Well, this is the problem with legislation or potential legislation in the state of Illinois. No bad legislation is truly dead. It typically will come back in some form or fashion. If not this General Assembly, the next General Assembly. They push until they get some variation of what they want. So as of right now, I would actually say that it's on life support, but struggling is probably the best way to put it.
So David, why is that? I mean, why have we gotten to this point? Because we all thought this thing was for sure they were going to jam it through, but it sounds like it's not going to happen.
So actually, I thought that as well. Now, we had tremendous pushback on this. Thousands of people showed up in Springfield, witness slips. It was absolutely amazing. But the key component, from my understanding, is why this legislation is not moving forward at this time is the Black Caucus does not like it. And as a rule, because there are so many members within that caucus, if the Black Caucus doesn't support it, it is not going to get through. So that's my understanding, and I hope that is true because I would love to see this bill die.
Wow. As somebody who is very connected to private Christian schools, my wife is a teacher at a private Christian school in Illinois. We are all very, very relieved and happy to hear that. David, what happens next? I mean, is this a plan for the future? Is this how we can boycott anything, or is this specific to this bill?
This is specific to this bill because my understanding, and I wish I would have been able to have time to speak to this representative when we were up in Springfield, but I found out about this as we're getting off the floor. He actually had a organization or a meeting in his district, and he had thousands of people there in opposition to the homeschool bill. And that was just one rep in one district in Chicago. So if I had to guess, that was the consensus within a large segment of the population in Chicago, just like in my district. I had tremendous feedback from homeschoolers in my district wanting this bill to die.
Can you tell us why the Black Caucus was so against this? Are there a lot of private school, homeschool kids there too?
Well, there are private schools. Now they're typically Christian schools, and my understanding is that there's a lot of Catholic schools up in the Chicago area, and the reason they receive such good support is because if you go to a public school, and this isn't universal, but a large number of the Chicago schools, they're not safe. If your child's got to go through a metal detector to go to the school, do you want your kid to go to that school? My thought would be no, I don't. And then you've got issues with attendance. You've just got a whole huge number of problems that you don't deal with at the private schools. So I think that had a large part to do with this.
David Freeze, I know that you probably weren't intending to say what I just heard, which is that, well, they have a lot of problems with attendance at the public schools that they don't in the private schools, because that was the legislation they were trying to pass on the merits that they were trying to get better attendance in private schools.
Yeah, so full disclosure, my wife's a public school teacher. And I can tell you this, having had so many conversations with her, is if we really want to make changes to the public school system, what we need to do is we need to put pressure on parents. I value education. My wife does. And if you do value education, guess what? Your kid's in school. And we need to bring back punishment. And I'm not talking, beating kids, but we need to be able to discipline kids. Right now, they don't want students to have either lunchroom detentions, after school, suspensions, detentions. Any kind of discipline has been removed from the school system. And the kids are very much aware of this. And if you can't punish the kids in any form or fashion, They don't do the schoolwork, and even if they do show up, they're let's say less than productive students.
Yeah, no, David Freese, my wife comes from both public and private schools. She's taught in both. We're all, in fact, Brad, Annie, and I all married to school teachers. So, and we're all in Illinois. So we're all very much in the same boat. And let's take the wins when we get them. And this is a huge one. So thank you so much for breaking that. I appreciate you.
Yep, I appreciate you having me on.
All right. Thank you. David Freese from Illinois 115, breaking some great news there. He's been a part of the pushback as well as all of us and all of you. Man, that is just huge. It's funny. I remember back in, this is probably 20 years ago, I had a pastor when I was down in Carbondale. No, it was longer than that because I was in college, that said, there's a lot of things that representatives and legislatures and governors will try to do, and presidents for that matter. But when they start messing with kids, people push back, and it's bipartisan, and people start praying and people start acting, and things happen when you come after the kids. And we're seeing that in so many issues, this being one of them. This is just, I wish we had applause sound effects, because when he announced that, man, I'm just so happy to hear that my kids who go to my wife's school, I was just so concerned that the state was going to start stepping into their education. It would happen slowly.
Right.
That's what would happen.
But don't let your guard down, because he did talk about that, because that's how Illinois will operate. They'll be like, all right, let's put this out there. We think we got something popular here. And then they'll put it out there, and then it'll be like, oh, this isn't really popular at all. And then they'll pull it down and say, it failed. And then they'll gut a complete other bill, throw the language of this bill in it, and pass it in the midnight hour so nobody knows that it's going on. So if you're out there listening, yes, we're winning, but we haven't won. Keep fighting, keep pushing. Do not let this thing ever come back to life.
Well, people have been watching this one in particular like hawks, because what they would do was, and we knew that they would do this, is they would get a whole bunch of letters. I can't remember the name of it. There's a specific form that you'd fill out to be in opposition of this bill. And a whole bunch of people, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands maybe, of people would fill that form out.
40,000.
Yeah, 40,000 people. And that was probably the original.
Mm-hmm.
And then so what they do is they'd say, oh, well, we're going to alter this little portion of it. And then all of that gets scrapped. And then you have to start over with the opposition again.
Right.
And people would do it again. So that's what's impressive, is that people were watching this so closely because they were so passionate about, look, if you're going to do your public schools, I get it. I'm helping fund the public schools. But don't make me follow your curriculum if I don't want to. I want to go do a Christian school. I want to do a private school, maybe Montessori school. That's not even a Christian school. Maybe you want to do homeschool.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do things my way because they're my kids. And this was the first step of intrusion, and everybody knew it. It didn't matter what party you were from. It didn't matter. Everybody who had kids in private schools and homeschools knew what Illinois was trying to do here.
Yeah, the most dangerous place to be is in between a parent and their child.
Yes.
So,
yes. So great news, and very glad we got to break that today on the Annie Frey Show, on the Mannie Frey Show. One more story to get to before we get to the end of this segment, since we're talking about Democrat Party. You know what? I don't want to just be like, oh, they failed. But this was a big defeat in Florida. I don't know if you saw this. The Democrat Party, this is from Politico, Democrat Party in Florida is dead. That is quote unquote from,
dead.
Believe it or not, the top Florida Democrat.
Ooh.
His name is Jason Pizzo, and he is the state Senate minority leader. He is just ripping Florida, really national, because it's the same issues. He's ripping Democrats across the board and saying, look, you've all lost your way. He says the Republican Party has a lot of problems, but the pendulum has swung so far that it's he said it's going to swing back, but we got to be ready for when it does. So he's still Democrat, but he is lamenting the position of Democrats, specifically in Florida. I mean, this is the leader of the Democrat Senate saying, I'm out. He's actually dropped out of the Democrat Party.
So he just left the party.
Yeah.
So he didn't leave his position. He left the party, or did he?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know that if which one is which, because he's going to become an independent. He says this party has no future for me. Now, here's the weird thing. And I actually contacted a friend of mine who works in similar to this political talk radio in Florida. And I tried to get him to come on. He couldn't make it today, maybe Monday, if this is still a pretty big story. Actually, it's weird because this is a big story, but it's not cracking the amount of big stories. This is just one of them. But he seemed to imply when I was texting with him, and even there are articles that I've read that say that it's possible. Shocker. You're talking about politics. That he is actually trying to position himself for a Democrat governor's run next year.
Oh,
against Byron Donalds.
Yeah,
probably Byron Donalds.
But yeah, I mean, especially in Florida, though, if you are a Democrat going in there with what the National Democratic Party has been pushing, you're not going to have any success in Florida.
And that may be why he's trying to position himself as, well, I'm not really a Democrat. Maybe he runs on the ticket because he has been a Democrat. But he's trying to say, I'm independent. I'm not like those Democrats.
Florida is such an interesting case, too, when you consider, because it's Floridians plus the transplants from New York. And they've gotten a lot of transplants from New York and the upper East Coast, New England area, because of the draconian COVID policies of those places, the taxes of those places. And those people fled that area, said that was horrible. And then when they got to Florida, people are always worried about an influx of people from those states. They were like, no, we hate that, and we're not voting for that anymore.
Isn't that interesting?
It is so wonderful.
You see people say that a lot. You know, specifically, people were saying it about 5 or 10 years ago about California and Texas. And what they were saying was, if you have all these people leaving California,
don't California my Texas.
Don't California my Texas. Exactly. You saw billboards that were saying that. Don't California Texas. And what they found was that the opposite was actually happening. And I'll bring this back to Illinois, because when you have a bunch of people leaving California to go to Texas, who's leaving? Well, there's some Democrats because they're just leaving for opportunity. Maybe there's more opportunity in Austin than there is in Sacramento. Okay, that's fine. That happens. If Tesla leaves or SpaceX leaves or something, a lot of jobs leave with it. That doesn't mean that you're partisan. That just means you're leaving for a job. But if you're leaving for any other reason, ideologically, you're probably lean right, at least, if not hard right. So the people that are leaving the blue state, they're already agreeing with your politics, and they're actually making your state redder.
Right.
On the inverse, though, when people leave California or they leave Illinois, which there's a massive outmigration of both of those states right now, Illinois, the problem is the people who are leaving Illinois, they're the red voters.
Yeah, you get bluer.
And so you get bluer, and Illinois knows this, and they're just trying to push through stuff. That's why this win with the homeschool bill being at least defeated for the foreseeable future, as far as we understand it, is so big. Because as we talked to Derek Cox on, what was that, Tuesday, about the mascot rally on Sunday, he said to me, either off air or on, I don't remember, that part of the problem is when these things come down, we still have to have the energy to say no. We might not win those battles, but you have to stand up and do something about it, or you're definitely going to lose.
Yeah.
And this is a great, great example of what happens when people come together and make their voice pretty loud and say, don't do this. And there's enough of them, and there was enough of them from other sides of the aisle, really, is what happened.
What was really cool about it was it was so loud that the national media heard it, and the national media picked it up and started doing stories on it.
Very cool stuff. All right, we're going to take a short break here. It's been kind of a crazy hour. We will get back on track here with maybe have Ethan come in. We'll talk about some blues maybe in a minute if he's available. If not, we might continue talking about these EOs that are being struck down from Trump. Stick around. We will play it by ear like we have been doing. This is the Mannie Frey Show.
Annie's out, Ryan and Brad are in. This is the Mannie Frey Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage, my friend Stewie, this is where you go to ensure that the bagel loan is yours, because you can't get the bagel loan anywhere else other than with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. The easy way to contact him is by phone. You can call him or text him directly. My generation, we like to text, and he's happy to do that. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. reach out to Stewie and say, I need a bagel loan. Tell me what I need to do to qualify. He'll go through the process with you. He'll explain it in detail so you can understand with that bagel loan why you pay $0 in closing costs. Not tucked away, not hidden, not rolled into the loan. $0 in closing costs. Secure a low rate for yourself. If you're doing a refinance, a lower rate than you were paying before, or maybe you take some cash out and invest in getting rid of some high interest credit card debt, maybe an improvement on your home, whatever it is, Stewie can help you. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com. That's GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA, so we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Find out why Renewal by Andersen has the most 5-star reviews in St. Louis at rbastl.com or call 314-332-1924. rbastl.com or 314-332-1924.
Today's YouTube live chat poll. Will there be a major announcement on Tuesday, which is Trump's 100th day? We've got 3 options here for you. Yes, on trade deals. Yes, something surprising. Or no, but they'll act like there's something there. So what we need you to do is jump on Annie's YouTube page. Just go to youtube.com and search Annie Frey, spelled Frey. And you'll see the stream. Jump in the stream. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and then you can leave us a comment telling us why you voted the way you voted, and you can also vote in the YouTube live chat poll. The time is 1:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
97.1 FM Talk is proudly supporting the Guns N' Hoses Queen of Hearts raffle, benefiting the St. Louis Backstoppers. Learn more at stlgunsandhoses.com and listen to the Mark Cox Morning Show Fridays at 8:20 for winner announcements. Annie's out, Ryan and Brad are in. This is the Mannie Frey Show.
Smell it on your breath. Gloria, booze and peppermint.
There's a great question from Incognito, who asked why Congress isn't doing more to deal with these district judges who seem so out of control. Well, I can talk about that because I actually testified at a Judiciary Committee hearing in the House just about a week ago, talking about the need to restrict district courts to local district decisions and not allow district court judges to make nationwide decisions that could affect everybody as though they were an alternative president. I'm delighted to report that Congressman Darrell Issa actually passed a bill which would block district courts from having nationwide injunctions and instead limit them to their own district. It went through the House. Senator Grassley has a similar bill in the Senate. I suspect it'll pass, and I suspect that President Trump will sign it. So Congress is moving to put district judges back in their district and not allow them to pretend that they're alternative presidents.
I've played that clip from Newt Gingrich a couple times now because it surprises me when I listened to that last night. I thought, oh, this is Newt Gingrich saying what we all knew, which is that they need to stop doing the nationwide injunctions. They should pass a law. But what he says is, well, they actually already passed this bill through the House, which I think I'd kind of known about. I'm not sure I followed it that closely because I thought once it got to the Senate, what's going to happen? Yeah. It's going to die. What he says in that is, I'm pretty sure it's going to pass and then Trump's going to sign it, which he could just be saying that. But this is the former Speaker of the House saying this. And if he says he thinks that bill is going to pass the Senate, I am surprised.
Yeah, well, that's what made my ears perk up when I was pulling that clip. He's like, and I think it'll pass. I was like, I'm sorry, what?
I know, me too. What was that?
But I just try to look at things. Let's think it through, see what could be the possible rationale for a Democrat to vote for this bill. And I think the rationale is they don't want Republicans turning around and doing the exact same thing to them that they're doing to Republicans. So they don't want Republicans going to a Texas, district court, federal judge in Texas, judge shopping, I think is what they call it, and getting a bunch of their stuff halted nationwide and tied up in court cases. Now, Republicans historically haven't done that because, like you said earlier, what is it? Something like 80% of these have been against Donald Trump.
Yeah, something like that. Of all the nationwide injunctions ever.
But since Donald Trump won, this is not the same Republican Party that people are used to. And the Republicans will absolutely turn around and tie everything Democrats are trying to do up in courts once Democrats take power.
Your rationale is the only one I could come up with, but it seems a little bit too early in the term to do that.
That's the other side of it.
That they would come back later and allow that.
Oh yeah, we definitely want that.
It's something we want. We want that in about 3.5 years. If it happens, great. This is a weird place to be because if you had come to me a few years ago, I would have said, no, that's probably something, keeping the courts with the emergency parachute there. That's not a horrible thing for if somebody's acting unconstitutionally, but they have used the emergency parachute over and over and over. It's like driving on a donut. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to just use it to get from one place to another.
What happens when this one goes flat?
Yeah. So I don't know that, again, we've entered new territory because Trump, Trump just does things that cause people to overreact. I mean, they just do over and over and over. And so now we're in a place where you really do have a district court judge that was literally unelected. That's what they're spray painting on Tesla dealerships. Unelected, cannot rule. Apply that to the judges. I mean, these people, they're unelected and they're local. They're not even appointed by a lot of times somebody who's national, depending on which court you're talking about. And they are issuing national rulings. They're saying, yes, he was elected. No, he cannot decide that. I decide that. Over and over and over. And it's amazing how many of the judges are the same judges over and over and over.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. The names always look familiar. One case, and then you start recognizing them.
And what's even worse is how many of those judges are on the dole for big government spending projects, or their wives are, or their kids are. So they're all super connected to this money. And a lot of times that's what they're stopping is the stoppage of money.
It's kind of gross.
It's the worst. It's the worst form of our government loopholes that they're finding to do this stuff. Because I was reading some of these EOs before that had been stopped, and I'll continue the list. If you want to get the rest of it, get the podcast, because I'm just jumping in the middle here because there's so many of them. Executive order Trump signed ending DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs at government agencies. The White House said the order expands individual opportunity by terminating radical DEI preferencing in federal contracting and directing federal agencies to relentlessly combat private sector discrimination. The court said unconstitutional.
The thing that blows my mind about the DEI stuff is at the root of DEI is the assumption that if you take these, and which DEI is not, E and DEI is equity, not equality. The idea is and the presumption is that if we remove this stuff, then they're just going to be racist all over the place and not hire any people that aren't white. And it's so dumb to sit there and think that that's where we are as a country.
Yeah.
We are not there as a country. That's stupid. And if you are championing those points, you are stupid for championing those points.
And to think that equity is constitutional, it's just not.
Right.
It's just not.
Because just to clarify, equity is the guarantee of equal outcomes.
Right, not opportunity.
Right.
And you could make the argument that opportunity is constitutional, or at least based on law, but not equity. That's different. That's actually really close to communism. The status of this is that a federal judge on February 21st temporarily blocked the Trump administration from terminating or changing federal contracts they consider equity related. Based on what? Doesn't matter.
Stuff.
They just stopped
Things.
it. Another executive order here says Trump signed an executive order on January 28th aimed at cutting federal support for gender transition surgeries for minors. Court said, nope, you have to allow it.
I hate that.
Multiple states sued. Guess which states? Federal judges have temporarily blocked Trump's order aimed at restricting gender-affirming care, is the way they put it. So you know this article is not even leaning right.
You're going to go California and Minnesota.
It just says
Probably,
multiple states.
yeah, probably New York.
I remember
I don't
reading
know.
the story, and it is those states. Anybody under the age of 19, they transfer of or incarcerated transgender women to men's facilities is included in that EO. And the court says, no. Children have a right to change their genitalia. That's constitutional. That was founding fathers intended that.
Yeah, and us to pay for it.
Right. That's part of it too. Yeah. Thank you. And these are all just on hold right now. Most of them. Trump signed an executive order targeting, this is a different one, transgender service members, said that the armed forces have been affected with radical gender ideology to appease activists, unconcerned with the requirements of military service like physical and mental health, selflessness, and unit cohesion. This is strictly a commander-in-chief initiative. He should absolutely have the right to do this. Court says nope. Federal judge on March 18th temporarily blocked the Trump administration from banning transgender people from serving in the military. Legal challenges to suspending asylum. This is the one that's been getting a lot of attention. Trump signed executive order suspending asylum access at the southern border, stating that he has the authority to suspend entry into the U.S. until he determines that the invasion has concluded. Challenge was issued, status ongoing. It's the same thing over and over and a lot of the same judges. A couple more minutes here. I'm going to try to fit in a couple more of these. Trump signed an executive order revoking dozens of executive orders and actions from the Biden administration. Seems like that's pretty
within the president's powers.
Airtight, including a move from former President Joe Biden to withdraw millions of acres of offshore federal waters from a new oil and gas development. Environmental groups sued. Court said they're right. You're revoking other EOs. How?
It's not even a law.
Unbelievable. Well, we're going to have to break. There's more of these. I'm not kidding that these just go on and on and on. This article is even updated within the last few days. This is a couple days ago, and there's been more since then. So we'll take a short break. We are going to talk a little bit of Blues with Ethan in the next hour because he was at the game last night. Man, that was playoff hockey. And it was buzzing.
It was rowdy
at the Enterprise Center last night. So we're going to talk to him. He was in the press pool after the game. I think he got to ask a couple questions. That's cool. We'll catch up with him, and we will hit this YouTube live chat poll again. Will there be a major announcement on Tuesday, Trump's 100th day? Let us know what you think about that. We will see you just after the top of the hour.
If you're a homeowner, it's time to upgrade your windows with Window World. Mark Cox here. I am a satisfied customer. I love the windows they put in my house, and there's a reason they're ranked number one in the number of windows sold in this country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. They have that lifetime warranty. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, the labor. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And in over 20 years in business, they have improved the look and the thermal efficiency of over 76,000 customers in the greater St. Louis area. Window World is now offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. And I think the customer service sets them apart from the rest of their competition. And they have an excellent track record with the Better Business Bureau. They've also raised a lot of money, over $3 million for local and national charities. So be sure and check them out. Call them at 314-993-1800. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. You can also go to windowworld.com Homeowners, spring is here, and there's no better time to sell your St. Louis home, but the agent you choose matters. Who should you call? My friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, your home sold guaranteed realty. Hey, it's Mark Cox. Here's why Gloria should be your first call. While the average realtor puts a sign in your yard and hopes it sells, Gloria will guarantee to sell your home for 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference. In this market, you don't want to risk working with someone who doesn't have the guarantees, buyers, or experience to help you sell within your time frame and for the most money. Many realtors will overprice your home to get your business, which can lead to your home sitting on the market with little or no offers and price reductions. If you want to sell your home for 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference, call Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Where do you go for your annual eye health examination? Ophthalmology Associates, of course. Doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra. Dr. Robert Bersati, he's the one I saw, or Dr. Andrew Royer. They are available to you and are there to take care of all your vision needs at Ophthalmology Associates. They're on Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270. Your vision is their business at Ophthalmology Associates. In fact, many of their patients are doctors themselves. That's why they call themselves the doctors, Ophthalmology Associates. Are your eyes itchy and scratchy? It could be more than just allergies. They're the leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. They're the leaders in LASIK and discussing those procedures. And if you're having difficulty reading or driving at night, you have glare from oncoming headlights, could be early signs of cataracts, and they can talk to you about multifocal lens implants. Ophthalmology Associates, youridoc.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Pushback over the courthouse arrest of a judge. Lisa Brady, Fox News. The mayor of Milwaukee, Cavalier Johnson, accusing the Trump administration of showboating after a county judge was arrested by the FBI, accused of helping an illegal immigrant to evade ICE agents.
They're scaring people. They're scaring people in this community. They're scaring people in immigrant communities all across the United States. And when folks don't participate in our judicial system, bad things happen. Our community becomes less safe. And that's the message that I'm trying to get across.
U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi tells Fox no one is above the law.
When you have victims sitting in a courtroom of domestic violence and you're escorting a criminal defendant out a back door, it will not be tolerated, and it is a crime in the United States of America. Doesn't matter who you are, you're going to be prosecuted.
Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan faces charges including obstruction, due back in federal court next month and free on her own recognizance after a brief appearance today. Accused killer Luigi Mangione pleads not guilty to federal charges in the death of healthcare executive Brian Thompson, gunned down last December in New York. Mangione had already pleaded not guilty to state charges. A former New York congressman is headed to federal prison.
George Santos sobbed in federal court on Long Island as a judge handed down over 7 years in prison on fraud and identity theft charges. The New York Republican, who barely served a year in Congress before being expelled in 2023, admitted to deceiving donors and stealing the IDs of nearly a dozen people, including family members, to fund his winning campaign.
Officials who lie and steal and defraud will find themselves in a courtroom, and they will learn, as George Santos has, that there's a serious price to pay for corrupt behavior.
U.S. Attorney John Durham, as part of a plea deal, Santos agreed to pay almost $600,000 in fines.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. America is listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
They bullied us.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy. And unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Temperatures still quite mild for late April, 78 doing it for the high today. There'll be some showers from time to time. Any thunderstorms, non-severe. It's not going to be raining all the time. Any showers fade quickly, early evening. Most of the night is dry, 55. The weekend looks good. Saturday, partly sunny, though cooler, 69. Sunday, partly to mostly sunny, 74. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist, Dave Murray.
Let's just face it, right? Your home should work for you, not against you. Hi, it's Kim. And if you've been dreaming of a new kitchen, bathroom, or a finished basement, now's the time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design. They're St. Louis's trusted experts in turning houses into dream homes. Just imagine this, a spa-like bathroom, maybe a chef-inspired kitchen, or how about a cozy basement perfect for some movie nights? Their team handles everything from design to installation, so you can just sit back and enjoy the process. Visit lakesideRD.com today to start your dream renovation.
History is happening in D.C. and 97.1 FM Talk is on the inside. Our very own Annie Frey has been selected to join the national press pool covering President Trump's 100th day in office.
I'm going to Washington and you're coming with me.
Exclusive access, unfiltered insight, local coverage, and we're inviting you along.
I'm Annie Frey reporting from the White House starting Monday on 97.1 FM Talk.
Annie Goes to Washington is presented by Stewart's American Mortgage and Grasser Electric.
One of the things with running is I want to enjoy the run, but I never made it very far because the arches in my feet just killed me. So when I got to the end of my rope and I said, I have to do something to get rid of the pain, and a couple of people recommended the Good Feet store to me. I loved how I could go in and get a free personalized arch support fitting. They put that time, that work, that effort into helping you find the right arch supports. And you can walk around the store with these in your shoes and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches on my feet stopped hurting and the pain instantly, literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a Good Feet store and go. There is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsley. We know the loss and the cost of an accident because when an insurance company offers a lowball settlement, we go to war for you and take the fight to the insurance company. Call 314-500-5000.
Celebrate April with store-wide savings on all in-stock jewelry at the Diamond Shop, located at 12 North Central in Clayton. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. Stop in today.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. Go to newnordicusa.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New you, new Nordic.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
They got someone here knows what they're talking about.
Left up, left right, gotta love this American ride.
And you need to take some time to get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Hey, Mannie Frey Show. We had to play the Friday intro, though. I got so many intros, we don't have to do with them anymore. Welcome to the Mannie Frey Show. We have had a fun Friday so far. It's been kind of weird because Annie is on the road and has been participating in the chat quite a bit, and we have talked to her in this show. We've also broken the news with Representative David Freese, Illinois 115 district, that the homeschool Illinois bill is dead.
Yes, it's good news.
And at least for the time being, it is dead. We're going to keep a vigilant eye on it, of course, but it has been killed, and it is because of the grassroots. I was going to say support, but it's really grassroots movement against that bill that has happened. So, wow, a lot going on. And I don't know if you stayed up late last night like Ethan Hannaford did, but he was a little bit tired coming into work this morning because he was up very late.
A little bit sleepy.
How late did you have to stay at the game or get to stay at the game?
I got home at 2:00. I left Enterprise at 1:15.
What time did the game get over?
The game probably ended around 11:45.
So
it was. I mean, I was not looking at my clock a lot, to be fair.
Mainly the scoreboard.
It was very just like bam, 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 bam.
You said it before we started the show. I asked you want to do some Blues today, and you're like, yeah, absolutely, because you were there.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, man, that third period though, it took a long time. It was like the end of a basketball game.
It stretched out because, and you knew that this was going to happen. It's playoff hockey. These two teams hate each other. The Blues, at that point, the game was over. They had obliterated them, but there's still 10 minutes left to play. So you knew that every time you knew every time there was going to be a whistle, that someone was either going to drop the gloves or they're going to get into a scrum, and you knew the game was just going to stretch out because every single time the whistle blew, there was four guys basically in a dog pile with
the old
each other.
Stinky mitt in the face.
Yeah, I mean that's really what it was. So fortunately, I think the refs did a pretty good job handling it. You know, eventually they just said like, okay,
all right,
we're kicking you out of the game. You're done.
We're done.
The Blues finished the game on like a 4-minute power play, and honestly, it was fortunate because we're already banged up enough as is, and you'd hate for you in a game that's over for someone to take a cheap shot and all of a sudden another guy's down or is injured for the next game. So fortunately that didn't happen, but the game most definitely stretched out in the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So the best team in the league, you score against them in the first 45 seconds?
48 seconds.
48 seconds. That's a great way to. You said this yesterday, I think, on the air that, and maybe it was John Gruden or something related to that segment.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly how, but that nope, a series doesn't really start until somebody wins on the road, and that still hasn't happened in this series. And the Blues still have. Well, how many more games do we have at home?
So Game 4 is at home on Sunday, 12:00, and you have to imagine those ticket prices have skyrocketed after a beatdown last night at Enterprise.
Playoff hockey is the best.
It's
man.
so great. It's so great.
So fun.
And then Game 5 will be back in Winnipeg. Game 6 will be in St. Louis, and then if we got to a Game 7, it would be in Winnipeg.
You wanna walk us through some of the goals?
Yeah,
I just had a fun time watching the clips.
I have a montage here of some of the big goals from last night. The Blues 7-2 win over the Winnipeg Jets.
Turnaround shot from the corner that went right through the top of the crease from Buchnevich. Through traffic, scores! Buchnevich on the rebound, and the Blues on the board. Here's Thomas. Backing it up, pass in front, redirection. Second for Pavel Buchnevich, and a power play goal. 2-0 Blues. Here comes Thomas in the zone, driving the net. Shot score! Cam Fowler jumping up. 3-0 St. Louis. That's played in by Snuggerud. Elabus has trouble with it. Score! Hat trick! Pavel Buchnevich.
Hat trick.
You heard it there at the end. A hat trick for Pavel Buchnevich, who had a quiet start to the playoffs and had gotten a little bit of criticism. And boy, did he respond in a big way last night. His first career playoff hat trick, the Blues' first since Tarasenko in 22 in the playoffs. It was electric last night.
Dude, the energy. I wasn't even watching it on live TV. I'm watching it basically as every clip comes through. I'm watching it on delay in a way. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
You could sense in the arena a pent-up aggression of 2.5 years without major four sports. You know, we give our love to St. Louis City, but it's not on the level of the Cardinals or the Blues, of not having that caliber, that quality of a playoff game in over 2 years. You could feel it in that room last night. They were ready to just blow the roof off of that place.
It's been a while since I've been to any playoff game, whether it be Cardinals or whoever. I guess that's because they don't make it.
It's been a minute.
But the last couple times I remember going, which is a few years ago, I left those games with a hoarse voice because you just yell the whole time. It is so fun, especially hockey.
It was, I mean, St. Louis did their job last night. It was loud from the start. They had the Blue Note Productions always does a phenomenal job. Their intro video for the playoffs was second to none. It was phenomenal. Crowds going crazy. They got Chris Pronger on the big screen, firing everyone up, throwing his hands up, waving the towel. And then the Blues come out. And like you said, I mean, it took seconds for them to be on the board. And Jim Montgomery talked about it last night. How
you're going to go to that now.
Well,
this is who you got to talk to after the game, didn't you?
He didn't say this to me.
Oh.
Someone else asked him this. Yeah, give me a break here. But he talked about how the guys were clearly feeding off of the energy from the crowd, and that was a huge reason as to why they were skating so well to start off the game. And I mean, they were up 3-0 after 20 minutes of play.
That's crazy.
They had 15 shots in the first period. Get this. The first two games, their total shots for the games, 17 and 22.
Wow.
So clearly the energy was there. And I credit the home crowd last night for being a huge reason for that.
You said these two teams hate each other.
Yes.
Do they have... There's not like a history here, though, is there?
No.
There's
There's a history.
Is there really with Winnipeg?
There's a history with Winnipeg. So Winnipeg's a Central Division foe, so they're in the division. So that automatically you're going to have a little more beef with the teams in division that you play. But if you recall, back to 2019, this is the team that St. Louis beat in the first round of the playoffs. So there's definitely a little bit of it was a huge series. I mean, a couple of crazy games mixed in there. So for St. Louis to upset Winnipeg in that first round matchup was big. So Blues fans are definitely feeding off that with all the 2019 comparisons. Facing off against Connor Hellebuck and Winnipeg again is a big thing. And then just a couple months ago, I'm not sure if we talked at all about the Four Nations face-off, but it's Brad. You can add on to this.
Yeah, we did. I don't know if we talked about it or not, but Hellebuck was the goalie for Team USA. And Benner was the goalie for Team Canada.
Correct. So back in February, instead of an all-star game this year, the NHL basically did a mini international tournament.
Which was awesome, by the way.
With the U.S., Canada, Finland, and Sweden. And the U.S.-Canada, I mean, it was a very hyped-up hockey game, and it was Binnington versus Hellebuck. Out of the two, Hellebuck is by far the better goalie. He will win the Vezina Trophy this year, goalie of the year for the second straight season. And Binnington got the best of him again on the big stage in the Four Nations face-off. So yes, there is history between these two. Hellebuck has struggled traditionally in the playoffs, which is interesting, right? Because you're like, oh, he's the best in the regular season, but he's gotten beat time and time again in the playoffs. And now I think some of those, is Hellebuck going to fall apart again, or is Benner going to outshine him on the big stage again? I mean, Winnipeg's still leading this series, but last night was definitely encouraging.
Is it safe to say that 2019 Game 7 Boston is a St. Louis where were you moment? Does everybody remember where they were?
Absolutely.
Yes. I definitely do. My wife and I got a date night that night. Like randomly, like 2 months out, we had that night scheduled as a date night. And because, when you have little kids, you got to look way ahead at those things. So we were already planning on going and just having dinner or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Katie, we can't not participate in this somehow. And she's like, okay, I don't care. Like, tell me what to do.
Yeah, what'd you do?
So we came to, I was already working here. I'd only been here for about a year at that time. And we came down here and parked in our garage here right downtown. And we just walked around. We didn't know where we were going. We thought maybe we'd walk down to the Enterprise Center, but I think it was full.
Yeah.
Because it was a away game, but they were having a big watch party there. So we walked to just a bar, I think on Washington. I don't remember. And we just knew, okay, everybody's watching, because you could see, like, when you're walking down the street,
people everywhere.
Everybody's gathered around certain spots. And so we walked up to one of those spots and went into a bar and did not know a single person. and everybody's cheering and hugging. I mean, it was fun. And that's the kind of stuff that you're like, this is why you have a city. This is why people come to a city to be a part of something like this.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the feeling of it. I know exactly where I was standing. And I was, my wife and I were watching the game. I don't think that I watched a single game in that Boston series sitting down. I think I was standing in front of the TV every game, maybe 3 or 4 feet away from it with my eyes crossed, rocking back and forth as they did it.
So were you at home?
Oh yeah. I watched it at home. And the thing about it is like the moment that I knew the Blues were going to win the Stanley Cup was when Binnington made that big save in Game 7. And I was like, and I think it was it second period or early third?
Second or early. Yeah, I think it was early third.
And he stopped them and I was like, they're going to win this. I wouldn't allow myself to believe it, but it's like, they're going to win this. Holy cow.
You know how big 2019 was? So earlier this year, weird story. You're going to be like, how is that connected? Earlier this year, I went in the hospital because I was I had a lung infection.
Yeah, how was this connecting?
It doesn't. I just am like, man, I need free tickets. Listen to my plight. I was in the hospital for like a better part of a week. I missed almost a week of the show because I was just really down.
I remember that happening.
And it was January. It wasn't that long ago. And you kind of get to know the nurses and stuff in there because you're just with them every day. And a lot of them are traveling nurses, so you don't see the same ones, but there are a couple of them that you see over and over. And you end up just talking to them because they're doing all these treatments on you constantly, and they're just living life, and you're part of their life for a week. And so this one lady, I don't remember how it came up, but we were talking about our kids, and she said, "Yeah, I got my one kid, and then my other kid, Binnington." And I was like, "Wait,
hold on.
Did you just say that your child is named Binnington?" And she's like, "Yeah, you want to guess when he was born?" I said, "Was it 2019?" She goes, I figured out what I was going to name him at the parade.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
Oh my goodness.
Holy
That's
cow.
amazing. I was at Busch Stadium, so I was with 40,000 other
That's
Rabbit
awesome.
fans. In
Maybe
the
that's
rain.
where we were trying to go. I don't remember.
But I will never forget after when we're leaving and there's just people just in the street, standing in the street. I've never experienced something like that. Like you said, kind of that
in St. Louis
city atmosphere. It's like, it feels like a city.
Yes.
That's what it was. You're driving through and people are sifting through. I mean, it was unbelievable.
I don't mean to make this about downtown St. Louis. We talk about it all the time. But there are places that you go. I actually just went to last September. I went to Colorado. And it's not that it was like vibrant, but there's a little bit of a buzz. There's just a buzz because there's just lots of people. There's lots of activities, lots of restaurants, bars. And we were walking around the Colorado Rockies Stadium. There's still a little bit of that with Cardinals games, I think. Maybe not as much as past years. But Ballpark Village and that whole area, it's really cool. I like that area. But that's a city. I mean, that to me is what we need here. And it used to happen in pockets. You'd have U City and you'd have Washington Avenue. Even that feels diminished to me from 10 years ago. And that I lament that. I'm not trying to make it political. We do that enough. You know where we're coming from. But I lament the fact that we don't have that atmosphere because it is so fun to be a part of. And it still happens with sports sometimes.
And it also, it tells you, I think it makes the problem even more clear when teams like the Cardinals, who are really the identity of the city, are struggling because it doesn't have that same vibrance that it once had.
Yeah.
And then you see how scarce it really is. You're like, oh, this is an even bigger problem because now it's like we can't rely on the Cardinals to always be that, like we used to be able to. So it becomes an even bigger issue, I feel like. Or not that the issue gets bigger, but all of a sudden it's way more in your face. It's way more in your face, yes.
How many times have you been how many times have you been a part of the press pool for the Blues?
A few times.
Just a few?
Yeah, I have season credential, but I don't go very often.
How possible is it that I could walk up there and just put a lanyard around my neck and just say press and just be like, I need to go talk to Jordan Bennington?
0. 0.
Even if I had a logo, I put a sticker on it?
0.0%.
Did you get to walk around? Like, how does that work? Do you walk around the locker room? I mean, what is it?
Yeah, so
recording people.
So after the post game or during the post game after the game, it's a little bit different for hockey than it is for baseball. In baseball, it's way more just you have access to the clubhouse after the game. You can go in, you can kind of talk to whoever you want. The media goes usually to a couple of people, but in hockey, by the time you get in there, nobody is in the locker room, usually except for Binnington. He's finishing up taking off his gear and everything. And then
the rest of them are gone.
They're either getting showered up or they're getting treatment, and they will bring a player into you. They're saying, okay, tonight, last night, Cam Fowler, and
you're not walking around towel whipping guys.
No,
like you are at the Cardinals club.
Cam Fowler, no. Cam Fowler and Robert Thomas came out and they spoke to the media with the scrum, everyone around them, cameras in their faces. And then we went into a room where up at the podium, Jim Montgomery speaks, and then Jordan Binnington and Pavel Buchnevich spoke.
You asked a question. What did you ask Jim Montgomery?
I asked Jim Montgomery about, the Blues scored 3 goals in the first period. They scored 4 in the third, but I'd argue that the most important period, I would argue just as important, I'll say that, was the second period, because you knew that Winnipeg, a very talented team, was going to come out with a little bit of fire. They're way too good to not. You knew they were going to come out with a little bit of a push there in the second period. And I asked, how important was it for those first, 10, 15 minutes withstand? I said, weather the storm. How important was that? And he was, I don't know if I would quite say it was a weathering of the storm, because they only had a few shots on goal, but they did create some pressure. And he said, that's what having a great goalie does for you, that making some of the saves that he did in that time, and going into the second intermission with a 3-0 lead. I mean, the game is never over, but the game was over. They were not going to.
I
they
think
were not going to come back.
Downplaying your question, because I saw that interview, and what Jim Montgomery said at the beginning, he answered your question eventually, but he went, "Dang, that is a really good question.
Who is this guy?
Who's this guy?"
Hey, you were like, Gary Wood. What a scoop.
As he's answering, I'm like, yep, scoop, not a storm, got it, okay, very good.
This guy's unbelievable.
Gary Wood is not a single person.
He's in all of us, really.
It is something we can all be,
especially during this season. It's something we can put aside.
Maybe you can put in a credential request for Gary Wood.
Yeah, we can all just kind of lay aside our partisan politics, who we are,
yes,
and just see the Gary Wood in all of us.
That's beautiful. Is there a better way to wrap up the segment than that?
Gary Wood in all of us.
Gary Wood signing out on the Mannie
There's the
Frey
title
Show.
of the hour for whoever did the podcast
skidoo.
today. 23 skidoo. All right, we'll be right back.
It's a new dawn.
What is this song?
It's a new day. It's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good.
Annie's out, Ryan and Brad are in. This is the Mannie Frey Show.
Buying and selling real estate is complicated, it's stressful, and the market is crazy. That's why you want the Dittamore Group. You can find them online at thedittamore.com and call 618-531-4652. 618-531-4652. You'll be tapping into 50 plus years of experience and working with the #1 team in the #1 office in the Metro East. It doesn't matter if you're buying or if you're selling or simply even thinking about the possibility of a move. The Dittamore Group wants to talk to you. They want to learn about what your plans are. They want to learn about your home, how they can position you for the best possible experience in a timeline that works for you. The Dittamore Group is absolutely well known and respected in the community. Their values precede themselves, and they base their entire way of doing work on honesty and uncompromising integrity. Call the Dittamore Group at 618-531-4652, online at thedittamore.com.
Hey, Jimmy Fallon here with a quick listening tip for you. If you miss Fox Across America or any of your other Fox News favorites, do not worry. I got you covered. You can stream previously aired shows with Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app. So if you're busy work days, it doesn't mean you have to miss out on the news. Listen to your Fox shows on your time with Odyssey. To get started, just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio. That's Odyssey, Audacy. I'm spelling it out in case you're a little slow like me.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call us now. $30 billion was set aside for meso victims. And in most cases, your claim is settled out of court without a jury trial. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
I don't know if you heard with them, these energy mandates. Luckily, this year they stopped the continuation of this government mandates, but the new refrigerants did not stop, so that is out. So be careful, buyer beware on what you're purchasing. If you're looking for a new system and just want a common sense approach to picking a system, i.e., are you going to save money? Is your energy bills going down? All the stuff that we've been hearing for about the last 25 years. Bottom line is, when it comes to the efficiencies, it's going to be your house. I only have 60 seconds to do this in, so if you want a common sense approach and you are looking at purchasing a system or getting prices on systems, please call me. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. 314-293-2600, or on the internet is bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Noble Gold Investments alert. Gold has surged 46% in less than a year, doubling the gains of the NASDAQ and S&P 500. But this isn't just another rally. Investors are losing confidence in paper gold and demanding physical metal, creating a massive gap between gold owed and gold available. But this isn't about how institutions broke another system. It's about how you can profit from it. Right now, Noble Gold Investments has a limited supply of investment-grade gold bars and coins available. As banks scramble to fulfill their obligations, pushing gold prices higher, you can profit. Smart investors are already moving into physical gold. Noble Gold Investments makes it easy for you to do the same. And right now, when you make a qualified investment, Noble Gold will add a free 10th ounce gold coin to your order. Don't wait until it's too late. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com now and turn their panic into your profit. noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
You're listening to the Mannie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is donating a bag of food to Open Door Animal Sanctuary for every AC clean and check performed in April. To schedule your AC check, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie's out, Ryan and Brad are in. This is the Mannie Frey Show.
And it will be for a couple days because Annie is at an event today with Byron Donalds. She checked in the 1 o'clock hour. We have on Sunday the Save Our Mascots rally at Collinsville High School Football Stadium. 2 o'clock Sunday. If you want to be a part of that, just come out and just say hello, really, and be a part of it and just show support for keeping local control over our mascots and all the spending that we'll have to do if the Illinois legislature decides you are offensive to us. It's just, well, it's pretty typical, actually, for Illinois. We announced that the homeschool bill is dead in Illinois at the moment, so it's been a pretty big show. And then a reminder that coming Monday and Tuesday on the Mannie Frey Show, right here, we will be hosting, Brad and I, because Annie is going to be in the White House. She's going to be
super
in
cool.
Washington,
D.C.
D.C.
So cool.
In the White House. And we're going to kind of play quarterback for that, but she's going to be wide receiver. Like, we're going to be tossing to her quite a bit, and we don't know what that looks like. So just tune in, especially Tuesday. Now, Monday's going to be fun. We don't know what it's going to be like. Tuesday, she's going to be in the press briefing room with Carolyn Levitt, and she will most likely get to ask a question, we assume, and we're going to carry all that live. So just be here because we don't know when it's going to happen. Now it is time, as we are apt to do on Fridays, for What Did I Miss?
What did I miss?
What did I miss?
All right. So for those of you who don't know, What Did I Miss is just a series of clips that I pulled throughout the week that maybe didn't make the air, or maybe Ryan derailed the conversation and we didn't get to a chance to talk to it. Really, during the Trump administration, the news cycle has been like drinking from a fire hose. So you can't really get to everything. But this first clip that I have here, I don't know if you've been paying attention to this, not Ryan, but Pete Hegseth, the knives are out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's just anything that they can, just drag him for. And so he raised a lot of eyebrows and a lot of ire from a certain group of people with these comments.
Troops fighting in the unit that many of you will lead are capable, truly physically capable of doing what is necessary under fire. They need to be fit, not fat, sharp, not shabby, especially our leaders. And that's why we're reviewing how the department has maintained standards in the past, especially the last 4 years, and whether those standards have dropped, formally or informally.
So he's catching a lot of flack for that. And honestly, I don't even think this is the worst thing that he said.
Well, he said a couple of our leaders need to get in shape too. If I was my leader,
it was like, oh, he called people fat. But like I said, this isn't even the worst thing that he said. He went on to say this.
What is that private pile? Sir, jelly donuts, sir. A jelly donut? Sir, yes, sir. How did it get here? Sir, I took it from the mess hall, sir. Is chow allowed in the barracks, Private Pile? Sir, no, sir. Are you allowed to eat jelly donuts, Private Pile? Sir, no, sir. And why not, Private Pile? Sir, because I'm too heavy, sir. Because you are a disgusting fat body, Private Pile. Sir, yes, sir. Then why did you hide a jelly donut in your footlocker, Private Pile? Sir, because I was hungry, sir. Because you were hungry.
That second clip was him too. Huh?
Yeah. Arlie Hegseth. I don't understand what all the outrage is about on this. Yes, we want our military, we want our war fighters to be in the best possible shape. Now, he went on to talk about leaders and them, their shape, but you lead by example in certain areas. So, I mean, I think it's inspiring. We've seen the numbers with the military. Record numbers of recruiting across the branches. And we've also seen that coincide with Pete Hegseth and Tulsi Gabbard in certain situations, going out, performing physical activities with the everyday soldier. I don't think this is a big deal. We don't want fat soldiers.
I'm 100% in favor of this. I can't imagine in no other time or place would this be controversial.
Yeah,
to say we want our soldiers to be in good shape.
Yeah.
Okay, that seems pretty normal. I mean, that's what you should want.
You don't want them giving away their position because they were wheezing after climbing the hill.
Yeah, it's 2025 America, and so somebody's going to hear that and go, Brad and I didn't know that we were just going to gasp together over and over there. That was a little weird.
Nah, you liked it.
No. What's the next one?
The next one is Linda McMahon. So again, we are making waves because she said this.
In case you missed it, the Department of Education announced that on May 5th, we will restart collections of student loans in default. The federal student loan portfolio stands at nearly $1.7 trillion, and only 4 in 10 student borrowers are in repayment. Unlike the previous administration, who made false promises and pushed an illegal student loan bailout, we will not force American taxpayers to take on the debts that are not theirs. There's no such thing as forgiveness, just shifting the payment burden from one party to another. Borrowers should pay back the debts they take on. Please visit studentaid.gov for more information on student loan repayment options.
I mean, again, duh.
Yeah.
You take a loan, you got to pay the loan.
Listen, I am the owner of student debt. I have my own debt. I am paying my debt. But the thing that I always remember is whenever I went to take out my student loan, it was me that signed on the line. I signed that debt. That means that's my debt, Ryan. That's not your debt. You're not responsible to pay for my education in that situation. You're just not. And I don't think anybody else is responsible to pay my debt. I looked at it. I said, what I am buying is worth this price, and I will do it. And I understand the other side's argument that sometimes these student loan practices are predatory. I will agree with you on that. Sometimes they are predatory. I think that universities are overcharging for the product that they're putting out there. But at the end of the day, it's not my responsibility that you got swindled. It's not my responsibility. Now, I will join hands in maybe looking at reforming how we give out student loans. I will gladly support you in calling on schools to make their product more affordable and to give you what you actually pay for. But I don't think that you should ask Joe the plumber, to steal a phrase, who didn't go to school, who used monies that he earned to buy a truck and make his business better. I think that it's not fair to ask him, or in this case, demand that he pay for your student loans. So it's my understanding, Ryan, and maybe you can clear this up for me. that they're actually going after. It's not just that people are in default. It's those student debt forgiveness cases that Biden did.
Well, I can tell you that it says the article I'm looking at here from NPR says the change will affect 5.3 million borrowers who went into default before the pandemic. So what has happened to these people since Biden took over? I don't know. I know that this is where it got real dicey with him in the Supreme Court, because they shot down his first plan to eliminate this.
Yeah.
And then he altered it a little bit. And I think we got a little up in arms because he said, "Oh, I'm going to basically ignore the Supreme Court and go and do this anyway." But that's not what they did. They restructured it to say, "Okay, you said we can't do that. Let's try this." And it was similar, but they did change it. So whether or not they actually forgave a whole lot of debt, I don't think they did, but they did forgive some. They were able to forgive a few, probably tens of thousands of people's debt, but among 5.3 million, that's not a whole lot. Now, how that affects the people since then, I don't know. But I can tell you, when I looked this article up, the way that this is being portrayed, like if you just look, if you type in student loans right now, it automatically goes Trump repayment, because this is what people want to know. So it fills in that for you. And then the first articles it brings up are Trump's student loan plans are an anti-stimulus for a struggling economy, MSNBC, ABC. Collections on millions of student loans risk slowing the economy. So with the mainstream news, if you try to cut government spending, they're against that.
Yeah.
If you try to increase money coming into the government, they're against that.
Yeah.
You can't win. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah. So that's that cut. Another cut that I found interesting, and I don't know if you've been paying attention to this struggle that has been going on in the DNC. David Hogg.
I as typical, I'm aware of it.
I saw a scroll.
I saw something about it.
So he had come out, and for those of you who don't know, he's been elected vice chairman of the DNC, which is a really high up position. Now, he has come out recently to say, hey, I want to primary all of these old people that aren't doing their job that I don't think is effective, and I will use DNC money to do that.
Ah, you hippie.
And this has caused quite a stir, so much so that the DNC chairman, Ken, let me get this right here, Ken Martin, had something to say on it.
Let me be unequivocal. No DNC officer should ever attempt to influence the outcome of a primary election, whether on behalf of an incumbent or a challenger. If you want to challenge incumbents, you're more than free to do that, but just not as an officer of the DNC, because our job is to be neutral arbiters. We can't be both the referee and also the player at the same time.
So he basically has come out to say, David, stop saying that we will support primary opponents with DNC money. We don't do that here. And if you want to do that, that's fine. Vacate your position and do it on your own dime.
Look, the fact is the Democrat Party's in disarray.
Oh my gosh.
We've said it. You're going to hear it here, of course. We are okay with that. But the thing that gets me is people keep referring to the polling that says, oh, the Democrat Party's polling at like 28% of approval or something like that. Let's just put that, I'm a poll guy. Let's put that into perspective and say, yes, that's true. But if you're starting at 50, because no matter which party you are, half the country hates them, half the country's okay with them. Mm-hmm. So you're starting at 50. So don't think that this is like, oh my gosh. What that shows is not that Republicans have anything. They've always, if you're Republican, you don't want anything to do with the Democrat stuff.
Right.
So you're already at 50. It's the Democrats that are hating the Democrats. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
And so this kind of stuff is indicative of that. It's not that, oh my gosh, everybody hates Democrats.
Right.
It's the Democrats hate Democrats right now.
Yeah.
And they can't figure out which way to go.
Yeah. And they want to be focused. Like if you're the Democrat Party right now, you are focused on resisting the Trump administration. David Hogg has come in and said, no, we're going to fight one another and we're going to spend our resources doing it. And that has not played well.
And the loudest voices and some of the money voices are fine with it. That's what's weird about the Democrats, is that you do have some moderate Democrats who are going, this party is in disarray. We have no real plumb line that we're looking to here. And then you have the activist class that's really kind of running everything, that's saying, why aren't you doing more? Why aren't you flying to El Salvador to have drinks with MS-13 gang members more? Like, show yourself as being useful. And it's producing all these strange results, and they don't know which way they're going to go.
Yeah. I got one more clip.
One
more clip here for you. And this is Sonny Hostin of The View. To set this up, the Trump administration, even during the campaign, talked about a $5,000 tax credit for parents. The idea being they want people to have babies and to start families. I agree with that. I think that's a good thing. Sonny Hostin has another view about this, and she got a little suspicious, and she said this.
Let me be unequivocal.
Wrong one.
Because when I look at something like this, these proposals, I want to know why, and I want to know who's making them. And so when I looked into that, they're saying that the U.S. birth rate is declining. However, in 2024, there was a 1% increase in U.S. births, but that increase was with Hispanic mothers and Asian mothers. So they don't seem to be concerned about that increase. They seem to be more concerned about a decrease in other populations.
Say it.
No, I think I said enough.
It's not based on that.
And so, well, it's just based on a study. And so the other thing
But have they said that anywhere? I mean, I feel like it would be fair.
It's just fair to who? It's just a.
Have they said that this is to target only white families?
Oh, I didn't say that.
You
I
have to
just
read
gave
between the
stats.
lines.
I just gave the stats.
Yeah, but it's about economics. They're wanting people to pay in.
I'm just giving
facts.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that clip. That's crazy.
Yeah.
There is no, I actually have an article about this. There is surprisingly no racial language in the $5,000 incentivizing of children being born.
Shocker. So the people that she mentioned, Hispanic and Asian people who had more babies than white people, I guess, however that statistic works out, they also would be able to take advantage of this. So like you said.
Wait a minute. They're passing something that's not just for white people?
Unbelievable.
If you listen to The View, you would be shocked by that.
Yeah.
In fact, you would be misinformed to think that was not even true. That's incredible.
So, yeah.
Well, I also like the plausible deniability.
I'm not saying
I'm
that.
just giving you the facts.
Joy Behar's in this bed. Oh, I am. I'm saying it.
Just say it. Just say it.
All right, I'll say it. White children. Joy Behar.
Oh gosh, it's so predictable at this point that you're like, when are they going to make this into race? How do you find? Let's find a race angle somehow and make that the story. Wow.
Yeah.
The View. I don't watch it much. I listen to a lot of it.
I'm aware of it
in clips.
Yeah. Just the highlights, right?
Well, this is the Mannie Frey Show. We are about 15 minutes away. We do have the YouTube live chat poll still. We'll get the results of this in just a couple minutes. Will there be a major announcement on Tuesday, Trump's 100th day? Yes, there will be trade deals announced. Yes, there will be something surprising announced, big things. Or no, but they'll act like there's something that they want to announce. That is the YouTube live chat poll of the day. Of course, it's kind of an excuse for us to mention that Annie's going to be there on Tuesday on the 100th day, so you might want to tune in that day, too. Stick around. We'll be right back.
She moves like this, will you move like that? Come on, shake.
Annie's out, Ryan and Brad are in. This is the Mannie Frey Show.
Good afternoon. It's Mark Reardon. It's a Friday. That means a Reardon Roundtable is set to kick off in just a matter of minutes after Fox News at 3. Jane Duker on the panel. State Rep Steve Butts, the mayor of Eureka, Sean Flower. A lot to talk about, including the arrest of a judge in Wisconsin and another one out west. It's all coming up.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds. And most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
Or if that resume was from someone who
worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
we rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone.
Growing up where I did, a lot of things could have gotten in the way of my goals, but I learned to push through, and that's what I bring to work every day.
So maybe it's time we look beyond the resume and look to Grads of Life. Discover new ways to develop great talent that are so much more than what's on paper at gradsoflife.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
Surprise!
Surprise!
You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Our programs and services include rides to care, a place to stay closer to treatment, or access to information and day-to-day guidance, all for free. To see how we can help you, visit cancer.org today.
All right, this is your last chance to vote in the YouTube live chat poll today. We want to know, will there be a major announcement on Tuesday, which is Trump's 100th day? We've given you 3 options. 1, yes, on trade deals. 2, yes, something surprising that we don't know what it might be. Or 3, no, but they'll act like there is. Jump on Annie's YouTube page, youtube.com/@AnnieFrey, Frey, and vote in the poll. And then leave us a comment telling us why you voted the way you voted, and we might read that comment on air. The time is 2:50. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. Josie's on a vacation far away. Come around and talk it over. So many things that I want to say.
Annie's out, Ryan and Brad are in. This is the Mannie Frey Show.
Couple minutes still to vote in the poll. And right now I can tell you the split is pretty even. There's one that's winning, but I don't know if you can guess which one it is. This has been a pretty good poll in that sense. I wanted to ask a couple questions here. One is, have you seen the story about Trump selling his new hats?
No, I have not witnessed that this story exists.
The Trump store, the official Trump store, is now selling Trump 2028 hats.
Oh, that's fun.
That was my initial reaction, is that this is funny. And they're $50, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of want one.
It's not that funny.
But the question is, appropriate or inappropriate?
If it's a
joke,
doesn't
doesn't matter.
If it's a joke, totally appropriate.
They're not going to ever say that it's a joke, though.
No.
That's the thing. You'll never really know.
Because if you say that it's a joke, then the joke isn't a joke anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's funny. I like the idea of like giving ulcers to those people that are bedwetting about this.
I'll tell you what, man. When I saw this, I laughed, and then I went, well, I don't know.
Maybe he's serious.
This is the kind of thing that I really put myself in somebody else's shoes. If I either hated Trump or even just, maybe voted for him, but you're like, lesser of two evils, you don't like him. But okay, this is the kind of stuff that would make me go, that's why. That stuff right there, because you can say he's joking all day. We'll never really know. Mm-hmm. I actually think that it's probably just a troll. It's an excuse to get $50, which I don't know why they need that anymore. But I do think there is something to this. Now tell me if I'm way off here. But I'm reading really deep into this and saying that there may be some strategy in communicating that to other nations mainly. There's a possibility that all these policies that you don't like right now, that they ain't going away for a long time.
So what you're saying is this is some like 12D underwater basket weaving chess going on here.
If you want to go there.
I think you're over your skis. I think this is, let's sell some $58 or $50 hats and make a joke.
Well, they do need to communicate that message, whether it's in this way or not, that these tariffs and a lot of these policies, that's why they're doing them so fast.
Well, yeah.
That they're here to stay.
Yeah, and you're not even into the first 100 days, so you can't be like, JD Vance is the heir apparent. You can't pass the torch to him yet.
You can't do any of that kind of stuff. Do you think AOC is going to run?
Yes.
I do too.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's going to go. She could be the heir apparent for sure to the Democrat Party. She also could burn out with like 3% support.
Well, I am like, if she runs, I was super interested to see her being tried, for lack of a better term, trial by combat in debates and discussions and that sort of thing.
I would too.
I hope she runs.
I do too. I think every Republican hopes she runs.
You know what though? In 2016, there was a bunch of Democrats when Donald Trump said, I might run. They're like, do it.
I'm fine being a part of that montage if that actually happens. I'll be the guy on the video going, AOC. In fact, you can use that clip right there if you want.
At least I will be president of the United States.
Exactly. All right. The YouTube live chat poll is based on Annie being in the White House on the 100th day on Tuesday. As we've said before, no matter when that press briefing happens, she'll be in the press room with Carolyn Levitt and whoever else is in there that day. When she is there, my assumption is we're going to take the entire thing live, like the whole press conference, because we have no idea when she might get called on. Like we don't know ahead of time these things. So listen on Tuesday for that. We'll just go to it live and we'll basically be popping champagne because it's just fun. Monday will be a fun day too, because she'll be in Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. She'll be kind of in and out of the show. So yes, we're hosting, but she's very much a part of it.
Her press pass is good for both days.
Yeah. So she will Monday and Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Sunday is the Save Our Mascots rally right here in the Metro East, Collinsville High School Stadium. Come for that at 2:00 on Sunday, Collinsville High School. And between now and then, we have a poll to get to. So let's talk about the results. Will there be a major announcement on Tuesday, Trump's 100th day? Yes, there will be trade deals announced. Yes, something surprising, or no, but they'll act like it is.
216 votes on that YouTube live chat poll today, Brad. Look up. Ryan is looking at you. And the results of it, 49% say yes, something surprising will happen. 32% say yes, specifically trade deals. And then 19% say no, but they'll act like there is.
Do you have a thought on this one?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no.
You know, a lot of people said no.
I think that the whole like Pam Bondi and some of like the stuff with her and the Kennedy files and what was the other big one? The Epstein. I kind of like that's in the back of my mind saying like, man, like this, it seems too obvious that it'd be something big.
I think they'll announce something that's not on our radar.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because they're so
what if
good
it ends
at
up being the Epstein?
I mean, hey, whatever. They're so good at getting attention. This is a great opportunity for that. Brad, any thoughts before we cut here?
No, I definitely think there will be a major announcement, and I think it'll be something surprising that we don't know.
All right, stick around. Mark Reardon Show is up next. We will see you on Monday.
We all have different ideas of the perfect retirement, but they all depend on the same thing: not running out of money. And preparing for retirement can sometimes be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Find out how you could build your retirement on your terms. Join host Steve All for the All Financial Hour